Futures back to the downside here, ever so slightly currently. We are dealing with a lot. Good report after the close last night. We're dealing with downside action here this morning after Elon says he's going to open the purse strings to the tune of $25 billion, more than they've ever spent on CapEx. More than double, in fact, what they spent in, or what they're planning on spending in 2025. It's also up from their prior forecast. So all was well. If you were with us at 4 o'clock last night, we brought you the numbers as they came out. All was well until the call started. And that was one of the first things they ran through. So all eyes going to be on Tesla this morning. I mean, there's a ton of other things moving around here. IBM, we talked about last night, downside as well. Now, ServiceNow, downside as well. Just took back $90 though. Trying to hold on to some support levels. So it's not all bad, but I mean, even the ones that were in pretty good shape after the close last night, from an earnings standpoint, coming back in here a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching Tesla after the bell, watching the show as well to see how it was going. A nice price spike up, right?
Yeah.
Free cash flow didn't come in negative as many analysts had predicted, but that just may be for a short amount of time, because quite frankly, that $25 billion is going to definitely hurt free cash flow into the future. But, you know, look, he's got to build out these chips. He's got a bias that he needs them. He needs them en masse. And he's kind of betting the kitchen sink on it. Microsoft also in the headlines. They're going to invest heavily in Australia, looking to increase their footprint there. As you mentioned, ServiceNow, IBM markedly in the red. If ServiceNow is to open up now, right now, Brenda, it would be short sale restricted. Much of a different look, though, for TXN. We're up almost 10%. Great report there. Lam Research also reporting, also a little bit negative to start the morning. And then Netflix, some share buybacks, putting some money back in the shareholders' pocket.
On the day that the Paramount-Warner Brothers deal gets a vote. So I don't know if that was on purpose, the timing of that or not, but let's see. Yeah, Netflix should be positive for Netflix. TXN, as you said, really good look here this morning as well. We were kind of surprised by this one as we were waiting for Tesla to come out last night. Lulu just slides in there that, hey, they found a CEO, and everybody look that way and focus on Tesla because it's an ex-Nike executive that they've named as their new CEO. This search has taken quite some time, however.
Brendo, honestly, they really need to get their act together because the stock does not look good. You still go into the stores, you still see a lot of people at the stores, but quite frankly, you know, this is probably the result of the founder putting pressure, as well as Elliott Management, who now has a stake in Lululemon, you know, doing what they do, activist investors, activist pressure. So good to see. I don't know about the Nike angle to this whole thing. I mean, I get Nike's kind of been hurting as of late. We'll see if they can kind of bring a bit of a different twist. But I don't know, man. I feel like Lululemon is a bit of a different breed, so to speak, than Lululemon. Lululemon is more, you know, I don't want to say it's for a certain
different crowd.
It's a little bit different, right? Yeah. Even though Nike's trying to make themselves a premium brand as of late, I don't think that they're the same market.
I've seen more and more people though walking around with Lulu sneakers specifically. Really? Like, I don't know if you've ever been in the store. They actually have a shoe section now with running shoes specifically and yoga shoes. Not sure what those are, but Heidi O'Neill is the new CEO of Lululemon. Market not liking this today. So we're back down below 160. We had held 160 up here for the past couple of days at least. So, I mean, not a huge move, but we are selling off a little bit here in the pre-market as well. So lots to get to, lots to talk about on an individual basis this morning. Should be an interesting one, guys. Intel coming up tonight as well. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Yeah. Intel's got a lot going on because you had Elon using 14A for the Terafab. That'll be a positive for them today. You have Mobileye that beat on earnings. Intel still owns and authorized a $250 million buyback, so they still own a bit of a piece of that, so they're still going to get a bounce there. Just go back to this Lulu thing, though. You can't let this one go. Like, everyone's been punking Nike for so long, and so we wait all this time. And then they go push someone from Nike. Yeah. Which it's not like that's been the greatest story in the world itself. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that the market did not react kindly to this new CEO pick.
Yeah,
like I think a lot of times you look at they're looking for someone that would wow and.
I don't know about that, man. The stock is still down 65% off of its highs. I mean, we know that the retail space is a tougher one. The athleisure wear, your total addressable market there, and what Sharif was getting at is it's more or less addressed to a certain demographic of individuals. Even though it's a high quality product, Lululemon isn't. Like, there's so much competition in the retail space as well, too, right? Like, you have Alo, you have some of these new brands step in, and it makes things more difficult. Like, if you have one of the most popular clothing brands of all time struggling in Nike, I mean, it's tougher for the Lululemons, the Ons, the Alos, and everything along those lines. So, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of, essentially, the retail space, but at the end of the day...
Here's an idea. What they could do is if this doesn't work out, then I'm pretty sure if the transition from sneaker company to AI infrastructure doesn't go well for Allbirds, they could just snag that CEO, or they could just turn themselves into, I don't know, if it's already being done to transition yourself from like a shoe company to AI infrastructure, I think maybe going into quantum computing maybe could be an option for them.
Yeah.
What else you got going on? Maybe nuclear power is a big deal.
You could do an energy shift.
Yeah. Right? Some kind of a pivot. Maybe
or what are we thinking? Like, we know it's a low margin thing. Autonomous vehicles.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Even better, Neil, robotics.
Okay, that's the one.
We just fire that one up there. So Lulu robots, that's what we got. Yeah, Lulu power, man. That's what we're looking at. Bang. Whoa. My guy.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah. So.
A little violent.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Bang, ding, ding, ding. SMR running again this morning, Neil. So there's a lot going on. Tesla selling off, obviously, a lot to do with the CapEx. I think that's essentially where I was moving to on yesterday's report. I was actually surprised to see it get that pump. The numbers were good, but then sure enough, as soon as that call starts, talking about spending more money, and the boys were mentioning this not too long ago, is that like it's literally it's like a third of what some of the other hyperscalers are sending on their CapEx. So I mean, at the end of the day, 25 billion, free cash flow, positive, but not for long. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hate seeing it because it felt like there was already not as good of a reaction as we would have liked to have seen on the report. Like it didn't feel like it was strong enough. You're under the expected move there for Tesla. So it was kind of primed for this. Like we ended by the end of the aftermarket show, I started to feel pretty bearish on the price action just because I felt like there was so much good to look at. They were pointing in the right direction with Optimus. The other thing that really disappoints me is how coiled this was, Tesla, for it to just shoot. Like, you'd been in that long downtrend. Like, you had a little minor break, and then we were just all a little consolidated here. It just felt like it was really coiled up that the stock could move and you could get, like, some squeeze action. And then it looks like we're resuming the downtrend. So, like, I actually had this for a pop and fade, but I don't know if we get into those mid-80s. Like, you're gapped underneath that support. The market's punishing. It was in a punishing mood last night, whether it was a software name or you just said your earnings weren't good enough. I look over at Lam Research, which had an excellent quarter. This was blowing it out to the upside, almost double digits. Lam could threaten to actually went red this morning. They were down. Now it's back to like 0.4%, but this had gone red. And it's just a symptom of what we're seeing overall in the market. And don't forget, I don't know if we mentioned, SK Hynix didn't have a perfect report overnight. That could put some strain on some of the memory names. You'll see like Micron was down a little bit after SK's report. Not much, but still down 1% off of the highs and gapping. And I think that's out of sympathy to SK Hynix. So there's a few things out there that aren't looking good. Oh, that's right, Jeet just mentioned SMCI. SMCI's on my list today. So basically, there's a report from Blue something, I forget the name of the firm, that Oracle has canceled over $1 billion worth of of orders from SMCI. So it's an alleged report. Maybe they did some digging, and it's again, it's not anything substantiated. I think the issue for SMCI is they don't. It's like sell first is the first action and ask questions later. So they don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore, the stock. So they were down over 10, I think it was down 10% at one point, maybe even a little bit more than that. Now down 8% SMCI. A lot of negatives out here. Although the market's about to go green for what it's worth. And the nuclear names you said, looking fantastic.
SMR,
like SMR,
Oklos.
Oklo, I keep saying Oklo, but
Oklo,
they'll look fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, but did we not suspect this kind of with SMCI doing some fishy business, right? Like, I mean, you're down 10%, you lose 1.4 billion potentially in Oracle contracts. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're illegally moving chips, I mean, what do we expect, right? And fishy accounting practices as well, too. Always reporting late, never on time, pushing things back. So, I mean, it's essentially what we expected here in SMCI. But we got a couple other names that are on the move here, guys. Bitcoin selling off a little bit yesterday. We couldn't breach that 80,000. I thought we were going to run into that level in the post-market. Not necessarily the case. Off to the races, the NASDAQ and the SPY go. But as Neil was just talking about, we have SMR continuing to climb, looking pretty good. Also the Oklos and the NNEs, right? So what has Nano Nuclear been up to? How's that performing? It's performing pretty good here this morning as well. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, guys. Earnings, we're going to see some more orderly type price action, I think, in the market. As for Tesla, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some form of a rebound, all right? So that's what I'm going to be looking at. I have SMR, maybe for a continuation. Be prepared for the fade, and then a recovery in Tesla, because we are down 3% right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a bounce. I think it's going to be a clean pattern and a clean trend in one way or the other. It's just going to be our job to determine and find which way that trend is going to be. So it may be a short from the volume-weighted average price. It may be a long breakout from VWAP. It's only time will tell. We got plenty of time before the open. So those are my primaries so far, and we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin as we typically do.
Like we always do. But you know what? If you're an equity trader that wants to scale in these markets, and we just went green, PropShop Trader is a multi-asset proprietary trading firm designed to remove the typical barriers that traders face. You can trade stocks without pattern day trading restrictions and no licensing requirements, while also accessing futures markets within the same environment. PropShop Trader offers both day trading and swing trading programs, giving traders the flexibility to manage multiple accounts and deploy different strategies. Why risk your own capital when you don't have to? Scan the QR code to unlock 60% off your first account, plus buy one, get one free. Get started today. And we're gonna get started with a super chat, it looks like. I'm not even on the page you displayed, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, I like that. Throw it up twice, why not? WCM, it's time to look at GME. So Avis is done and we're back to looking at GME, is that? Who's hitting the fail on that? Well, you know what? That is terrible. How dare you hit the fail, Sharif, on such a quality name? GameStop is legitimately rising. I'm not going to say it's going a ham or anything like that. No, but it's been legitimately bouncing for quite some time now. And the $20 level has been legit. It's above the 15-200 pre-moving it. Like, how many questions do we get about when is it time to buy Nike? When is it time to buy insert stock X, which has been downward trending for the last year and a half? This one has found a base. For whatever it's worth, it's found a bit of a base, and it's been able to run usually to 26, but we've seen it get into the 27, 28 range. I don't know if this will eventually break out of this long bottom. In here, like, I think you'd like to see it get into and break 28. But the base has been legit at $20, and now you've gotten a pretty clean return. I don't know if it's got enough juice in it to do anything today at 1.7%. But this has been at least something which has formed a low, and you could do worse than that. That being said, while we're laughing about stocks, I still find it, yesterday, if you could have held that silly DJTX rumor that came out in the aftermarket, it's not so much that it was untrue. No. It's the fact that it actually went further than just retracing the whole move.
Yeah.
So like this was trading at like DGT was trading at $9.70 something cents when this rumor about X, I guess, merger buying them, I suppose, got dropped. I don't even remember who said it. It probably doesn't even matter who said it. Breaks 10, failed it. It's not that it came back. It said it went even lower. Like it actually, I didn't even realize this because I didn't pay attention to it in the last 20 minutes after the trade. But it dropped even further than that. That's the difference. You can have things where you're still trending down and you're guessing, is there bottom in? Is it gonna make a second push? Or you can have something which has also done the same, and maybe it could squeeze and all that kind of crazy stuff again. But for a very long time, there's been accumulation at this at 20. Like there's crazier things out there.
Yeah.
At least it's still not going down. That's the point.
That's something. But I mean, for me personally, we avoided. Like I just don't think you're gonna ever get back to where it was. But
but it could get back to 30, 35.
You think so?
I think so.
What are we at right now?
26.
Okay. So, okay, yeah, 30, 35. All right, I can see that. All right, Applied Digital here, guys, getting a little bit of a pop. A 15-year lease agreement with a U.S. hyperscaler. So that's looking pretty good here for Applied Digital. A nice pop up into 36 from $32 for that. So that's a $4 move right there. We love Applied Digital. This thing was on a big-time run earlier in the year. So from April for about a year essentially just goes monstrous, 948% in Applied Digital from the bottom there. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll switch some things off as Tesla slowly starting to come back in here, Neil. Not looking too good for the auto manufacturer here today, but nonetheless, we got other things, right? Let's get into a little bit of a rotation. We got some new scale power, SMR, NNE. Now we have Applied Digital popping up on our radar, so things are looking good. But all right, let's send it back to this to see what the boys are up to.
Just having a look at some of these software names. We left last night after the close, if you were with us, talking a little bit about the software group in general. One of the things that came from ServiceNow specifically, or the move that followed ServiceNow's earnings, was the entire group seemed to sell off on that. I mean, even individual names that didn't have anything to do with what ServiceNow does. I mean, Microsoft was probably the best example. You can see after the close, as soon as that report came out, Softy even got hit. And here we are just rolling back over through 425 from Microsoft. So, I mean, just to echo the narrative that we were talking about last night a little bit, the coast might not all be clear here for some of these software names. Certainly the confidence level the market is showing in them, definitely not.
Are we going to call this the Anthropic effect? Like, I don't know. I mean, because it seems to be Anthropic-driven headlines that keep pushing these SaaS/software names down because they keep coming up with these new enterprise.
Yeah. I mean, last night it was the earnings, really. That came across from.
But I was actually reading about ServiceNow. So they've got this new AI platform. What is it called over here? Just having a quick look. I forget the name. What they're calling it. In any event, Analysis, they're calling it Analysis. It's a generative AI suite. And look, it grew very nicely, 130% year over year in users, big users. Big users for them means people who are, or companies that are spending over $1 million a year. And that grew markedly, but not enough really to kind of allay some of the fears that we have about the software space right now. I mean, again, you know, if you're an enterprise, right, and you're having to pay through the nose. In this case, you're paying over $1 million to ServiceNow, and somehow you can internalize this by maybe hiring a couple of people or two and being able to either vibe code, gen vibe code your way in, or basically use the suite of products that are being offered by some of these AI companies. Maybe OpenAI throws their hat into the ring as well. But yeah, I look, we saw this with cybersecurity as well. Maybe this recovers. But I don't think it's as important of a space to keep spending money on as it is for cybersecurity. So I think that you know, the first thing you're looking at if you're a CFO of a company is like, where can I save? All right, well, I've got my AI budget. I've exhausted my AI budget. So then, you know, am I really looking to spend on these SaaS softwares? I don't know.
Definitely. This one getting going here once again, OKLO, back to session highs here, about to take out $80 again. I tagged it earlier. Another day, another NVIDIA-related headline here. So they're teaming up on what looks to be plutonium-based fuels. I was just reading this. The partnership is focused on plutonium-based fuels, grid reliability, and using AI models and digital twins to advance nuclear-powered AI infrastructure. So day highs here for OKLO once again.
Yeah, interesting look. I mean, Joseph and I talked about this a lot on the midday. Bring your own power, right? And we were talking specifically yesterday about the amount of data centers that are being applied for and not granted this year, the percentage that are not granted versus last year. Last year was about 30% were denied or not given approval. Now we're well over 50% so far year to date. And so one of the fears, of course, by the communities is that their power consumption is going to go up. Water is also a bit of an issue, but I think that that's a bit of a misnomer. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, very much in demand.
Yeah, this is a big move right now, about 10%, approaching 10% anyways, guys, here for Oklo.
Yeah, I mean, the other effect that obviously is going to happen here with the conflict and what's going on in the oil futures markets, and you saw Lufthansa canceling like thousands of flights. The effects of this higher oil price, they're going to continue to linger, and the longer this goes on, you're really going to have nations start to think about, okay, well, what are our alternatives here? Nuclear is going to become very important. It was already coming back into vogue, and this has put a spotlight on it, right? So that's why you're seeing things like GE Vernova go ham. That's why I think something like Avistra is a bit of a value. And for an upside play, like OKLO, SMR, it's very attractive. Like I basically said yesterday in the aftermarket show, I did say, and I am going back in to SMR. It's held to 50, it's breaking out. Like both of these names, I lean toward the technical side. Like SMR is a little tighter to the prior highs to be able to play off of, whereas it feels like Oklo has just gone a little bit more ham. So I do prefer that one to the other, just ever so slightly. I know yesterday I traded Oklo in the afternoon as opposed to SMR. I just like the area on SMR for a potential bounce play. But I think you can't go wrong looking at energy names, and where if everyone's complaining about CapEx spend and all the money that's going out there, well, the one place, energy and energy infrastructure, I think that's where we can be pretty secure that the money's going to continue to get spent. It was a concern before AI. It was a concern before the oil price shocks. And so that it's a bigger deal now, I think makes some sense. And there's also NNE, is he rightfully in the chat, Quickie. It's not just the two that we're looking at, NNE here. Up, maybe not as much, only 4%. So if you're a day trader out there, you might be favoring one of the bigger ones that's moving a little more. So yeah, I think nuclear, for myself, it'll be SMR that we're looking at instead of Oklo today. I just heard in my ear and see that Tilray is popping higher. Well, I guess we already know the story with the federal government, but I didn't hear anything. I don't hear anything new with regards to Tilray. So my guess is you're just looking at a little bit of continuation here. Good week for the marijuana stocks as well. Let's go over to to the big screen. We've got Joe. It's time for some options.
All right, guys, welcome. Let's take a look at some of the options activity in the world of the derivatives. So what we got going on here with Microsoft, guys, we had a substantial run yesterday. This is why I wanted to bring up this name. Implied volatility, we're going to kick it off with the lower end of things here, 33.4%. That's pretty elevated for Microsoft. But what I want us to look at is this $430 strike price, slightly out of the money right now. But what we're seeing is an elevated delta sitting around that $61 metric. So for every $1 change, you're going to see a $61 change within that options contract. Now, as for your gamma exposure, relatively light. But one thing that I want us to focus on this week's expiration, tomorrow that is, open interest still sitting around 10,300. That's going to be the largest in the next couple of weeks of expiration cycles. Now, volume 28,800. That's substantial. There was nothing relatively close to that in Microsoft, up or down or even further out in the expirations. Now, what I want us to focus on here as well, too, is that these contracts were almost worth nothing at the beginning of the month, even a couple of weeks ago. Now they're up substantially, north of $8 they were at one point. Now coming back in a little bit, so the breakout and the recovery in Microsoft is strong. Now we had another name reaching all-time highs. And I wanted to bring this up here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at some out-of-the-money strikes, and we're going to be establishing essentially a bear call spread. So what this is using call options and making a bearish thesis. Now we're climbing up to $300, so we're going to stay far away from that. But what I find attractive about these two specific strike prices is that they expire in 2 days. We have an increase in implied volatility, and with that being said, you get the increase in options premium. So what am I looking at here exactly? We are looking at that 315 and 322 bear call spread, and what we can see here is our delta. We're going to use this metric over here, guys, in probability of which these contracts are going to expire worthless. There's approximately a 75% chance that this short call, right, the 315 short call, is going to expire worthless, and that is going to be our objective here. We want these contracts to both expire worthless, primarily this one. So you're going to be collecting $216 per contract on this one, but we're going to be creating the spread, and we're going to be reducing our premium received, okay? So it's kind of the inverse of when you're creating a vertical spread. Instead of the premium paid, you're going to reduce the premium received. Why? Because this is going to protect our downside. So over here on this long call at $322, we're going to be collecting $1, or we're going to be paying $1 for this, now putting our total potential profit to be $116 in a span of 2 days. You don't typically see that when you have these contract combinations. Now, moving forward, I want us to take a look at the risk profile. Now, with spreads and bear call spreads or bull put spreads, so when you're shorting these options contracts, your probability of profit goes significantly through the roof, but there's always a flip side to the coin, right? You're going to see a risk to reward ratio that is most definitely skewed, okay? So with this one specifically, 78% chance that you're going to collect some profit on this trade, but what you have to take into factor is that your max loss is going to drastically outweigh the premium received. And with credit spreads, whatever your premium received, that's the max amount of potential you can create on those trades. So keep that in mind, guys. 78% chance probability of profit. We went over a couple of strategies yesterday where that's essentially cut in half, 41% and 42%. But at the end of the day, $116 collected by the end of tomorrow's session, as long as AMD stays below $315.
AMD, that stock is just, it's been built different, and it was certainly built different yesterday. They tried to flush it out early, and then you just another day, another all-time high. It's getting a little steep, but for now, I mean, I got away with a little one yesterday in the afternoon. I have to admit it. I guess the perfect timing to catch like a little bit of a move down and then getting out break even. But it's not one that you've wanted to fight. It's just you get into this 300 level. If we lose that today, like the market's done a good job battling back. I just feel like you lose the 300 today, that might not be all that good for it. I was looking for why you saw, or why we just saw MSOS and Tilray get a bit of a spike, and the headline that I just saw, this is nothing. Yeah, like this is nothing crazy, but Trump classifies state licensed medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug the headline says historic shift. So we know what's going on here. They should have done it on Monday. It would have been a lot more interesting if they'd done all of this. All these headlines had come on Monday. But in reality, you do have a bit of a push coming in some of the weed names. So MSOS is up another 10%. We showed you Tilray that's going to be up as well. And we just got a super trade. See, now I get in my ear. I can go from the chart. I can look over. JKL's up in the house. You're fishing today. Sweet. Adding to short MSTR into next week. MSTR hater. Well, we were looking at some Bitcoin yesterday. Yeah. And we're still above, like we lost the 78,000 level. We're still above some support, but we lost that 78K level. And this wall here on MSTR, it's the rounded face doesn't break until you get probably above 198,200. So I can see that being the resistance spot. Curious where the out would be. It's like, where would you want to be wrong on that one? Because I see 200. If it gets through 200, it's got some squeeze potential. And there we go. There's that headline. DOJ reclassifies medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug from the AP. So that was the same headline. Tilray's going to be higher.
I mean, is there a drastic difference between the recreational weed and medical weed?
I'm not an expert. Don't look at me, man.
I mean, I don't know if there is. I don't think there is.
Look at me.
Yeah. I mean, if someone can answer in that chat. Like, I mean, I think at some point you'll have certain, like, there'll be more concentrated, maybe in like the CBD aspect, THC or whatever it is. But I mean, you could just do that. I don't think, just dosage, it's tax. There's no difference at the end of the day. Yeah,
I mean,
it's the same stuff. You know what I mean? We just throw medical in front of it. Taxes on weed. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm.
It was all the same to our main man in Half Baked. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Half Baked, man. Yeah.
Classic.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like, you have the United States who want to be at the forefront of cryptocurrency, right? They want to be at the head of the AI race. Why not be like a major exporter of marijuana? I think that would be something that they can be good at. Like, obviously, tax revenues, yeah, but
it's got to be. Right? You got to have an advantage, though. Like, what do
you mean? Like, what advantage wouldn't they have?
What advantage do they? You're talking about just growing. You're talking about growing a plant.
Yeah, but like being an exporter of something.
Being an exporter of weed, though.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so to me, you have to have a really big reason as to which it's more effective for you to do it than some other country or somewhere else, and that's where it comes out. And it's just like. Plant you grow in a lot of places. I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm just not a believer in the investment. I fell for the hype. I fell for the hype early on, like way back, whatever year it was, like years ago. You know, you buy some weed stocks, it looked like everything was going to be the greatest thing in the world. But I mean, now it's like I just don't see what the huge upside. Like I don't think it'll ever get like full federal. Maybe it doesn't even have to. But you know what? Maybe short-term squeeze. Maybe get back to some big levels. If we have to look other places for a squeeze because now car is done, there could be the weed names. I would venture to say, like, what would you rather take a shot on? Would you rather take a shot on some kind of like small modular reactor name in the nuclear space?
Yeah.
Would you rather take a shot on a quantum name? Would you rather take a shot on? I'm literally listing things that I would rather take a shot on that I think are like QuantumScape. Where it's solid state battery technology. If these guys pull this off, exponential upside. Like I see the there. Like I understand this could also be worth nothing.
But at least
I see the why it could be the next.
I think it's different though, and let me say this because this is a rescheduling, not a complete legalization. I think it might be a little bit different.
It's not that big of a deal.
I think it's a big deal.
You think?
Okay. Yeah, more states. I mean, like you already have Colorado, California, and a lot of states. Yeah, New York, exactly.
But how much money does this mean? How much money?
I mean, we're not the best example of how much money it can potentially make. Cause
I'm just saying all those other things that I listed have exponential growth and upside, even if they could be worth zero, right? Like I think that's when I look at a small capper. Or some kind of like company that's like they're not making money yet, like you're looking for the breakthrough. It all comes down to, okay, but if it does work, if you do get everything you want out of this, does it have exponential upside? Somebody convinced me that
there's no debate on which one's more groundbreaking. Like the weed is nothing new, but like using from a quantum computing standpoint and different scale nuclear power, that's a different. But like I think it would be good. It's an additional tax revenue for the federal government.
Yeah, fair.
Right? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, you can see some strength within it. I mean, what we've done over here isn't the best example, but I'm sure if you get some people behind the scenes who are doing the right thing, I'm sure it's an additional source of income essentially for the government, right?
Well, it
may not be groundbreaking or anything along those lines.
More revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
They need more revenue. They definitely need more revenue. No questions about it. And that's another Bookem Dano is the name in the chat. I'm like, what is that? What is that name? I'm like, oh, Bookem Dano. It allows them to finally bank across state lines. The banking aspect of it is a huge one. You talk to anybody in banking, and even when when there's like industries that they don't like. Let's just say that whether even crypto had this problem as well. Like even when it should have been okay, like they would blackball certain accounts, and I think it is that on that frame it is a big deal. That being said, if you're looking today for the price action, and we'll get back to the desk in a minute. If you're looking today for the price action, legitimately you are in a bit of a breakout until rate, and these are all pretty heavily shorted. I'd have to double check. Here, I'm going to look at Tilray because that's usually the one that I'm paying attention to for momentum. So let's go TLRY. What's our short? I see 12%. I feel like it used to be more. They did do the reverse split and do what normally reverse splits do, but this is a legitimate break with some continuation. The thing about this, like yesterday, you got the spike and then it was a long bull flag. It doesn't have a tendency to just, when the marijuana stocks go up, to like just spike up and have an easy continuation. So if you're trading this, I would more bet on that, because if it holds on to gains, it's usually more along the lines of a pullback, grind higher, but your early high oftentimes is the best. So maybe you get like a shot at VWAP or something. Like look at what it did yesterday. Like halted up, and then just you buy the consolidated dip. So wait for it to consolidate maybe after the open, and I think that could be worthwhile to take a shot as long as it holds the prior high. I'm usually a decent fan if it can hold on to that, but that's going to require some patience on the way back in. Boys. Ooh, look at that.
Data that came through there at 8:30. We'll recap that real quick. Chicago Fed National Activity Index was downside ever so slightly, negative 0.2 versus a positive 0.2% print expected. 214,000 initial jobless claims, 218 was the expectation. 1.8 million or 1.82 million versus 1.81 million was the forecast on continuing claims there. Coming up at 9:45, it's PMI day. I was reading this morning that there were some PMI numbers released in other parts of the globe, and they were all terrible. So let's see how this comes through. Again, 9:45, the S&P Global Composite PMI, and then at 10 o'clock, oh no, we don't get the, typically we get both the same day, but just the S&P Global, both the manufacturing and the services. So the full composite coming out at 9:45 this morning. But yeah, there's a few over in Europe. There's a couple in Asia as well. I was reading this morning. They were all terrible.
Did you see Canadian PPI? Oh my days, 7.8%. The forecast was 5.4.
Jeez.
So we're going to get a rate hike then, because I mean that's ridiculous. Obviously, that's PPI, not CPI. Canadian PPI month over month, 2.4%. The forecast was 1.85, and the previous was 0.4. I'm assuming that that's likely headline driven by oil. I mean, I can't.
I mean, it's producer prices, right? So yeah, I mean, theoretically, yeah, it could be.
Well, because there's so many inputs that are oil based. You and I were just talking about it. The polyesters and all the other sort of chemically based products. That's a big one right there, Brendo. So we'll have to keep that an eye on that side of the border. Yeah, but you know, I don't think they're having the same kind of problem down south, especially with the kind of prints we saw last time.
No. Here's the market, meanwhile, coming back in off of essentially going flat, let's call it, for the session, the S&P anyway. We did get back to basically flat, coming back in a little bit here, but nice move up still, guys.
There's a lot of chatter with HIMS here, moving now 11% higher. You can see the headline right in there. The CEO on X said this morning, providers on our platform can now send prescription for Zep-bound vials and whatever the next one is, as well as Fondeo, to the Lilly Direct Pharmacy and access self-pay pricing for our customers because of an expansion in our platform's functionality. This has been trying to squeeze through this top here for the whole week, 32.3. So this actually, the structure looks pretty good on HIMS, where you have prior high 28, then you got 28 to this 32 level, which has been the range. And all we've done is bounce, get to the high. If you can close any candles above on the 15-minute, above the 32 level, this one looks good today. So another catalyst. Market didn't go green, but plenty of things seem to be running this morning. The weed name just popped off, HIMS popped off. You got the nuclear names popping off here. Unfortunately, you know, the names that you would have thought we'd be coming in talking about Tesla and Lam and.
I like this rotation.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of different, it's other names that are they're stealing the headlines.
Applied Digital, we're talking about SMR. We've got so much going on here today. This is what I love about earnings season, Neil. The market gets rolling, and this is what we want to look for, some orderly type price action. So it's going to be a good one. We can throw maybe Tesla to the curb and look at HIMS for a potential fade. Neil, we've been doing a pretty good job. You've been doing a pretty good job, I should say, on fading some of these pops that DJT trade that you had on yesterday, inside teaming up with Grokky. Yeah, okay.
But that one's different.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Like if the news is so obviously nonsensical that caused the stock to go up, it's a lot easier to just be like, okay, the second I see some sellers, just jump in short.
See you later.
Like in the case, like you could say, okay, well, HIMS is at resistance, so that should have been a fade up there. But that's legitimately positive news on a stock with a decent short float.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same thing. Like I'm only ever blindly doing that because I don't think I have ever heard a live news story get dropped that actually moved the stock a significant amount that I don't think anybody would believe.
I mean, like HIMS is coming in right now. Yeah.
Whereas HIMS, this is legitimate. It is coming back in.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Let's see how it withstands this dip back. Because if it can hold on to maybe the opening range from yesterday or some of these highs from Wednesday, that'll give it that good structure to look for a bid. Someone just said SMCI is SSR. SMCI is down 10%, but you're not technically SSR until the market opens. So right now, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to hit the bid, I should be able to. And actually, you know what's crazy? I wrote 27 on the note, but if this pops back, I'm looking shorts on SMCI, and it's looking like it wants to pop here. We got plenty of time till the open. Lots of time for these things to settle themselves out. Yeah.
Plenty of time, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got a lot going on here, guys. We can go over HIMS, SMR. A lot of people talking about Netflix getting a little pop this morning, bright and early, around 6 a.m. You can pull up Flix. So here it is. Opening up around, okay, so this is the morning, so right around 5 or 6 a.m. Yeah, exactly, I was right. $92, you get that pop into $94. We're still down a bit off of that earnings report. I mean, it's been a repeat offender to the downside via earnings report, like consecutive moves lower. This is a technical breakout here. Last report I was watching, it's like, oh, slide to the downside. And that was exactly what happened on the last one. We were high of around 108, and then sure enough, we're climbing a little bit lower. So key support level at $90. We have multiple trend line breaks. The technicals are aligning. Let's see if we can continue to climb higher here and find somewhat of a recovery in Netflix. All right, let's send it back to the boys, see what they're up to.
$5 billion in a share repurchase program.
Not bad.
That's not a little number for Netflix, but as Joy was saying, if you zoom out a little bit, I mean, this thing still has a long way to go to get anywhere close to even, levels that we were talking about during this deal. And it's interesting, as we were saying before, this all coming on the same day that they're going to start voting on this Paramount-Warner Brothers deal.
Well, you just got $2.8 billion just for the deal breaking up. So, you're another $3 billion in the money there, right? Yeah. But that adds, guys, to the $6.8 billion that they had already authorized. That was back in 2024. Not sure exactly how much that has run out. The company has purchased more than 4.2 billion shares. Has more than 4.2 billion shares outstanding as of 31st of March, with a market cap of, roughly a little bit less than $400 billion. So not a bad look. We'll see, how they can do after that failed $72 billion bid for Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, this vote, as we said, going to start today. We'll see how it pans out here. Intel trying to get higher here once again, $66. Bit of a pivot here in the pre-market so far. Nice pop after the close last night. You were talking about that.
Yeah, I'm liking this. Yeah. I'm liking this. And the reason is we heard so much about their yields being poor for the 18A node. And that's like, if you want to kind of quantify it a little bit into Taiwan semi-speak, it's around 3 nanometers. 14A, that's the most advanced. That's akin to the 2 nanometer Taiwan semi node. So what I want to know right away is, what are their yields like? Whoa. What are their yields like for 14A? Because Elon's going to be a super stickler for efficiency, and this is kind of where Intel has struggled relative to some of their peers. I mean Samsung and I mean Taiwan Semi. So very interested to see about that. Also, the Ohio plant, the one that's being paused at the moment, due for completion by the end of this decade, maybe early next decade. That's the one that's going to have 14A. So we're at least looking at a 3 to 4 year window before we see anything, if they keep the current format where they're looking at getting 14A out of the Ohio plant, because that's not going to be done.
Let's see what happens tonight. I'm sure we'll maybe get an update on that on the call, potentially tonight, Intel after the close tonight. We spent, what was it, a year, more than a year, completely renovating this place. This last addition that we've added on to this corner over just to our right here, did not have cooling within it. Let's just put it that way. So If you hear some noises today, they're doing a little duct work in the ceiling once again.
I did quite enjoy, though, the airplane that was in the back office yesterday during the midday show, because that's what it felt like, Brendo. I just got off an airplane. It feels like, you know, like the jet engine on the left side of your ear, if you're sitting on the left side of the plane. That's exactly what it felt like.
The rest of the office here has, what's it called? The not laminate floor, but that
I see what you're saying.
Plastic stuff. Anyways, they're taking that up and they're grinding the floor so that it's polished concrete, essentially. So we had those guys working back there yesterday. Apologies. Again, there's going to be some noises once again today.
Not so bad. I feel like these mics are so good. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, this is it's so loud, but then no one's really even complaining about it. So, you know what, before we get into Intel, because I like Intel today too. I'm with Sharif on that one. Mobileye is also up 15%. And don't look now, or you're looking right now because I'm forcing you to. That's just how this works. I put it on the screen, you got to watch it. Right? Mobileye is making a bit of a breakout here. Intel still owns a stake. They authorized a buyback. They reported this morning, so it's already a good start for Intel. I think it's a really big, the terafab is great for them. What you wanted to see was customers. There's no question about that. I know this week I've been bearish on Intel. There's no other way to put it. Like it was structurally the top that it put in at 70, and then the lower high. Then there was this pop and fade, which set up, and I want to say an obvious short zone as well. Oh, great. Now the futures are okay. Well, I was about to say, let me just finish the thought. 65 is the support level. As long as it holds 65, I want to grip and rip. There's no breakout unless it takes out 66, 70 when we're kind of diddling in the middle. So I'm looking like look for the bounce on the bid. But I'm not fighting this thing under a flat bottom break, because I like this story and I like the sentiment, but I'm not a huge fan of the overall chart action here, because I've been favoring the short on the pops, but this time it looks like we're going to test that support. There was just a spike up on USO, which I cannot attribute to a news story that I saw yet. So we just had this bounce here through VWAP. That just shot the market down through the volume-weighted average price. Looks like President Iran minesweepers are clearing the Strait right now, according to the president. I mean, that sounds like it would have been a good story. All right, we'll keep our ear to the ground. That sounds like that would have been a positive, but you can see what's happening in all futures. We're going to go to the screen because we got to see some upgrades and downgrades, everybody.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions from this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades, as we typically do. Deckers Outdoor Corporation down 1.6% roughly here, going from a strong buy to an outperform by Raymond James. So they're getting the downgrade, but still maintaining their price target of $133. We have CSX Corporation up 4.3%, going from an equal weight to an underweight with a $30 price target by Morgan Stanley. Now we have Madison Square Garden Sports going from a buy to a neutral flat this morning, but holding their price target, reducing it from $337 to $355. And Investar also getting the downgrade. Guys, you're down 1.3%, with a $34 price target being reduced to $31.50. Overweight to a neutral weight by Piper Sandler. Now, as for some of the upgrades, next slide, Sharif. Sharif, next slide. Thank you. That's all right. There you go. Boston Scientific is going to get the nod here. We're slightly positive, about a 10% here, guys, going from a hold to a buy with an $85 price target. Texas Instruments up substantially here this morning, 10.6%. Buy rating with an increase of a price target, $320 by B of A for TXN, up substantially here this morning. And then we have onsemi also getting the nod, guys, up 5%, going from a neutral to a buy, and then almost doubling its price here from $64 to $115 by B. Riley. And then McDonald's also getting the upgrade with a price target of $306. You're up 0.5% this morning, guys.
Thank you there, Joe. We have the full thing now. I'll throw it up there, and we'll read it off. This is the full story. I've ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot and kill any boat, small boats they may be. Their naval ships all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. That is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. There will be no hesitation. And it says, additionally, our minesweepers are clearing the strait right now. I'm hereby ordering that that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So that would be the spike that you saw. So if you take the partial look of it, you might have thought that would be somewhat positive, but it would still, I guess, be framed as a bit of an aggressive move, and you're going to see the oil futures higher, and then the Qs went. I mean, it wasn't some kind of gigantic, crazy flush or anything. Oh, what's up with that wick? Dark pool wick. It wasn't a crazy flush, but we did just drop a couple points, and we're underneath the volume weighted average price. There had been a little bit of strength coming into the market. I was going to talk about how it wasn't all bad, and one of those upgrades, Texas Instruments, had a great quarter and actually held on to the gains. Unlike Lamb didn't hold on to the gains, but TXN absolutely did. They're still up 10%. Very light volume. I don't know how day traded this one is going to be, but just an absolute rocket this stock has been. Oh, we got ourselves another super chat in here, so let's throw it on up there. Always appreciate the super chat. You don't have to, but when you do, we try to shout you out. Omen. That is a creepy movie. The originals are fantastic. $5 Canadian. Thank you. Go Habs go. Well, I mean, we're in Toronto, but you gave us a super chat, so yay? Not really. Okay, I can't. Toronto fans. Tell me what you think about Nokia. Is Winamp next? Love your show. When does Randy get his own show? Well, we used to actually have Randy on in the afternoons, and he would talk about the auto sector. Maybe we can get him to give his thoughts on Tesla. It's Tesla earnings day today. Nokia's been trending really well. A little partnership deal with NVIDIA, which you put NVIDIA next to the name, and it's been fantastic. I think when you're looking at somewhat blue sky setups, I'm a huge fan of trend lines. This is not really a true blue sky. I always try to go higher time frame for these, because this is more of the rounded bottom, break one level to get to the next bag hold. And you're going way too far. You can't really call them bag hold, but historical levels. And you're talking about 11 to 1160. Like, stones throw away from pretty significant levels. It's the 12 that stands out when you look at the monthly chart, right? Like, you have prior support that turned into 15 to 20-year resistance on Nokia. So that's, to me, that's the place that it's trying to get to on this particular move. That's a triple up if you go back to this recent and local bottom. And then even from here, it's like a straight almost double up as well. But yeah, I like that 12 level if you're pulling it back far enough here. And we got another one.
Oh.
It's from Rust MBLY. You know what? Rust, you know what? I'm going to mess that one up. You tell me how I'm supposed to say it. Beyond new chicken product selling in the Kroger store.
Okay.
Beyond Meat is insanely popular the last couple of weeks on this show. It's great. I'm sure it's an interesting product. I feel like the squeeze that everybody wanted probably happened the last couple of days. It's really been a nothing burger. Like yesterday, it barely even got off the schneid and then reversed. Today, you're not really doing anything. The only good sign I would say for Beyond Meat is it's holding that dollar level. So the longer it holds on to the, like, see this, like you get the back end,
yeah.
Right? Louis talked about this, and I like this too, because when I traded penny stocks, I would do the same thing back in the day. Like you get your run, you get the back end day, it holds the $1 level, it holds a second day, you look for it to hold the third day. Sometimes it'll be like the third day will give you the bounce. I'm usually looking for that maybe like in the afternoon or the following morning. So maybe tomorrow morning if it's holding the dollar, or if it just goes sideways with a higher low, you can hold the consolidation and maybe you get that secondary break. I think that's the territory you're in for Beyond Meat, and usually that's not better than the original move. So I wouldn't expect that to get to 150. But if you could get it to 125, that's still 10%.
Yeah, I mean, a lot going on here. I would love to read the ingredients of this stuff here, the Beyond Chicken pieces, that are going in Kroger stores. I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, it's across the board. I mean, is that going to be a needle mover for this thing? I don't think it's going to change things. You also have the vegan alternatives as well, too, right? Like the vegetarian ones. I was a big, I like black bean burgers back in the day, so I don't know if I need necessarily like an alternative to meat. Just go the vegetarian route or something along those lines. I just think that all the all the products and like the ingredients that they put in this stuff is absolutely, I mean, it's probably worse for you than just eating some other things. Anyways, aside from that, like, I don't know. We talk about the breakout, right? Like, this was a nice move from 60 cents all the way up there. So you get a double up essentially pretty quick. You're up 1.82%, but once it starts to cool down and you run into this type of volume, like 1.9 million shares, you can see there's obviously going to be liquidity issues here. This is in the meme ETF, isn't it?
Is it?
Meme? Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. I would also DJT, I believe, was in there as well too.
Yeah, it would make sense that it is.
Oh, and someone said, so we were talking about Open Door the other day, so apparently it's in the meme.
Well, if it's not, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. It's
it would,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. If you want to trade them, then trade them. Just be cautious that there's obviously some fundamental issues with them in regards to that. But I mean, like, again, guys, there's a lot going on here. We already have a volatility spike here in the overall market. SPY, IBIT coming back in a little bit here. Tesla, where Tesla is trading at right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a pop. I don't know if we're going to get that aggressive continuation to the downside, but I forget the name in which we were trading the other day, but it was identical to this. Like, okay, we're just hovering. We're not breaking down. We're just a little bit below the volume-weighted average price. Was it Palantir? And then it just popped right out of the gate. It was something. I don't think it was Palantir.
No, that wasn't Palantir.
Yeah, it was something else. And then just like right out of the gates, it decides to recover a little bit here. And like this could be the case. There's a shelf at 386. I don't think this is going to be much of a resistance zone, even though it's already acting as one. So if you can punch through that pre-market area of 378, I think you take that next step higher. You see how this is holding up right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you can take that next punch higher, especially with that volume and momentum out of the opening drive. I wouldn't be surprised if we can get past there.
It's almost 9 o'clock already. I see Sharif's getting excited. You must have found a small cap that you like. I see you rubbing the hands together like the like Mr. Burns. Excellent. I feel like if you're looking at small caps, like how it's got to be one of the nuclear names today, no? Or like Quantscape does look pretty good, but like these nuclear names are fantastic. Maybe it's just going to be one of those. And then of course hymns. It is holding on to the gains, by the way. You're still.
Is it?
Well, not all of it, but it's still above 30. It's just chilling at 31. Like that. It's that prior, like this prior high from, let's say Thursday, so it'll be Tuesday. From Tuesday at about 30.80 or so. It's going to hold on. It is holding on to that. I shouldn't say it's going to. It is. It's bounced off of VWAP coming back in here, so that looks pretty good. And that SMR again looks pretty good as well. Moon Sandals says nothing about IBM. There's a couple of reasons it's going to look bad for IBM. One of them, IBM. First of all, IBM has been falling on earnings. I think, at least for the last year, it seems like it's most of the time just going to be dumping on earnings, regardless of whether they beat or not. So you have that, and then the other thing you have piling on is we know what happened last night. Like if you were software last night, you were down. Period. So you had those two things working against IBM, regardless of what the numbers were going to be. And it's a somewhat broken chart too. It's not completely broken because it hasn't lost this big support level down in the 220 and 225 range. But this was the move that was supposed to give it, you get back to the 50 period, you're consolidating for the next leg in the break, you report and you do the opposite. So it's a halfway broken chart here. And I say that as someone that owns IBM, but you got to be real about it. I was looking for what software name I liked as a dip buy, thinking that things got out of hand last night. Yeah. Like, IBM's at the right level, but my whole notion was I wanted it to be somebody that didn't report. Like, I didn't want it to be ServiceNow. I didn't want it to be IBM. Like, I was thinking more along the lines of either cybersecurity or Palantir. Yeah. But like you're pulled up CrowdStrike.
I pull up Crowd always, man.
It was actually Pan. Pan was it was Pan W or Palantir, the two that I was most looking at in terms of, come on, load, man. In terms of how far they fell. Pan W didn't even break the prior support. Like it came down, but didn't really come down all that far, and it still got to 74, so that's got a bit of a level. And then the other one I was thinking about was, the U.S. government, or at least Donald Trump likes Palantir. Where did that go? But then Palantir lost this little support level in here. I was kind of hoping it would hold on to this just about 150 level, and it's teetering on it. So it's not, that one's not really setting up, and I don't necessarily love the overall
So
market.
if you had to dip buy out of these, I'm going to give you two names right now, okay? You have Microsoft down 20% and you have Netflix down 29% off of its highs. Which one, if you had to buy one or the other, which one are you going to dip buy?
Yeah, but so I already dip bought Netflix.
Okay, so all right, that's your answer. Yeah, all right.
Well, not in this rundown. I dip bought on the original rundown. So it'd be disingenuous for me to say something else. Because and because I'm not really, I haven't been a buyer of Microsoft in, I can't remember the last time I bought shares of Microsoft.
Okay.
It's probably the only Mag 7 name that I own some because I'm old.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and just being real, like this was one of the top 10 like micro cap, like market cap companies when I was young and starting in my career.
Okay, I'll add one more to the pool.
So it's the wrong one to use.
Tesla. Okay, so out of those three, Netflix.
At these prices?
Right now at these prices, if you had to grab one of those three, you're still going with Netflix over Tesla?
Because it's a price thing. I've always been along the lines of I like to buy Tesla when it is looking like everyone hates the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Like the last time
you're not getting that vibe.
The last time I bought Tesla was at $222.22, and if you watch the show, you know I'm one of my favorite baseball players of all time is Will Clark. So if I tend to randomly in my long-term account, I'll put in like 22 cents or like 42 cents because I love Jackie Robinson, like that kind of a thing. Yeah. No, but when it was down here and it showed that triple bottom and then early last year, I bought it at 200. Like the low was like 220 or 218. Yeah. I bought it at 220, 222, and that's the last time I bought Tesla shares, and I have not bought them since. I was looking for this last move to get us down to like 280, 300. Like, but it just didn't quite get down there. But I was looking sort of in this range.
Now let me ask you, okay, we're going to do another scenario before we send it back. It's 9:01. Okay. Opportunity cost. Do we think that Tesla is outweighing Bitcoin, or which one do you think is a little bit more in the realm of opportunity cost? You think so? Well, no, it's from a stock, from a stock standpoint.
That's not
IBIT, right? Like IBIT multi-month consolidations, Tesla, a little bit more ebb and flowy.
That's you know what I want to say I want to say Bitcoin. I want to say Bitcoin.
Okay.
I want to say Bitcoin.
All right.
But like I reserve, you know what? That's what I want to think about. That's what I want to think about. Not an easy one. Usually it's like when you have me Netflix and Microsoft and Tesla, that was like actually a lot easier for me because I already have opinions on what I want to do and I haven't decided what I want to do with Bitcoin. But it is 9 o'clock, everybody. We have a free watch list to get to. We've got a lot of names that reported. We have a lot of names that are in play that didn't report, and some futures to talk about as well, which tried to get green, and I think we just missed. I think I said we went green, but I'm pretty sure we missed by like a hair going green this morning.
You know what, Neil? That we're at these all-time highs and the Strait is still closed, I think probably says a little something. We got into all-time highs or thereabouts again yesterday, guys. 7.11 is where we closed out on the SPY. As you can see there, we're down 1/4 point here to start the morning. But we used that same support level we talked about yesterday. That 705 area, 705-ish area came in, held us up. We moved back into that 710, 711 area. We're at 709.57 right now. So, Brendo, we're just going to say the same area of resistance that we couldn't clear the last couple of days, 710, 711. That's R1. And then we're looking for 705-ish as support level 1.
Just buy more. That is the lesson the market continues to teach us. Down below, you can get that description. The second link down there will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Comes right to your inbox every single day. Everything you need to know on it. All the news, all the individual names that are moving around in the pre-market. And then you come join us at 8 o'clock. We'll get you set for what is to come. Tesla, on everyone's mind right now, it's actually trying to retake 376 as we speak and head back to the upside. It seemed all rosy after the close last night when the numbers initially came out. I mean, there was a slight miss here. I mean, for the most part, it was positive right across the board.
Yep.
As soon as Elon gets on the call, he says, "Oh, by the way, we're going to spend $25 billion."
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Right down.
Yeah.
Right down. Yeah, and that's what stood out to me, obviously, the CapEx spend. Are you surprised by that? I'm not, because they're going to have to build all, well, they're just going to have.
He even said, everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, and he has to rely on other people for the chips. And Tesla, their moat is vertical integration. They take everything from inception to the finished product. And, you know, I think it's outside their moat to really kind of rely on others. Let's talk about this report, though. EPS, 41 pennies, beating 37. It's a beat on the top and bottom line, guys. 22.39 billion versus a 22.64. Automotive revenue did increase 16% year over year, with margins coming in at about 19.2. That's pretty good, because margins were under compression. I think we had hit 16, 15 at some point. What really stood out to me, though, the energy segment. That was their fastest growing segment, and a lot of people were really championing that as part of, you know, maybe a secular move here for Tesla with autos weak. That dropped 12% year over year on the quarter. So there's a little bit of weakness there. What I don't, you know, really have a firm understanding on is how the CapEx is only going to be 25 billion. How? I mean, we're talking about building out huge fabs. These machines alone, the tools, the chip making tools are going to be huge. So you feel that 25 billion is just for, you know, the initial phases. I think we spend a lot more on this.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, and probably you're not far off, because I mean, even like 2025 was 11 billion. The initial forecast for next year was, I think, 20.
Yeah, yes,
which is still, you know, less than double, but now we're way over double. So let's see what the actual number comes out to be. But it could be worse, guys, for Tesla.
Always be worse. But show me a single large cap or mega cap company that has increased CapEx in the last year by a margin like this. I think it's going up like 25% from the expectation, and then that was it.
Yeah,
every single one, there's been a continuation of it. So I think that's implicit. It's implied. It's almost slightly gonna happen, and the market is not seeing that favorably, because Elon was even a little bit cautious with some of the call. And usually he's pretty brash about things. Like he was willing to say, I don't know, when it comes to the regulators in autonomous driving in Europe, right? And he threw a little bit of cold water on some of the robots. Not a lot, but a little bit in terms of timelines. And yes, he did have aggressive timelines, but he was a little bit more cautious. So today, based on, it's the CapEx. Every other time we've seen this, I feel like it's been a good way to fade. That said, Tesla has a way of being able to bounce off the opens. So I am looking back into the prior lows. Yeah. And it's a wide range. I think I have like 82 to 80. 382 to 386 is kind of the target range where I'm looking for a short. Which does mean if it's a shallow pop and fade, great. That's certainly possible. It didn't really do, think of it like the reverse of this. I can't really show you a pop and fade because it didn't do it yesterday. But think of it the reverse like this. Like if I see a topping tail candle through like an 80 or that 82 level, I'm gonna look to be on the other side of it here for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, with Tesla here, I mean, 25 billion, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that increase from like 20 to 30%. Yep. He's being optimistic. But at the end of the day, we were having the conversation in the fact that, like, okay, he's talking about 1 million of the first generation robots by the end of the year. I think that's obtainable. It's just too much detail. We know he talks about these timelines. He's like, hey, we're looking to do this, we're looking to do that. I don't think he would be that specific in the fact that we're looking to produce 1 million of these by starting now and have 1 million by the end of the year. So I believe it. I'm going to take it for what it is. I know he tends to fall in that realm of being like, hey, we're going to produce this amount, we're going to do this, and that. I have that feeling that he's going to obtain that goal. Now, as for everything else with Tesla, the earnings weren't horrible whatsoever. Sharif was mentioning how the fastest growing segment, energy, taking a slight slowdown. I wouldn't be surprised if it picks up at some point. FSD approved in some countries in Europe. We like that. Expanding in Texas as well, but we want to see that continue to grow. He needs to get involved in some more states. There's a big difference between the two technologies, between Waymo and obviously Tesla. But I like what Elon's doing. It's been a slow rollout, but hopefully we can get that exponential growth essentially in the span of him getting from different cities. We have Waymo. Brandon was telling me the other day, Waymo potentially here in by 2027, right? I think the contracts are. So yeah, well, he's not. We won't even talk about full AV here for another couple of years.
Well, you know how things roll here in Canada. We don't get anything first.
No.
If it's technology, regularly. A little more red tape up here. We'll leave it at that, right? Our flag is red. We're gonna have red tape up the wazoo. That's just how we roll.
More regulation is essentially what we need, right?
Well, I personally, I think the ideal thing would be to have all of our lives completely controlled, like by Skynet, and then you just tell me what to do.
My friends didn't believe me when I told them that you told me that they're not allowed playing with like basketballs and stuff at recess.
I tried telling you, you didn't believe. It's real,
brother.
You can't. So my daughter, like when I grew up, my daughter goes to the same elementary school that I went to as a kid.
Yeah.
And we used to bring our bat, balls, gloves. Yeah. Early in the morning, and we'd organize baseball games at lunchtime and at recess. Now you are not allowed at the same school I went to. You are not allowed to bring your bat and ball and have a game of baseball. You can't bring a stick and a ball and play and
you can't play
ball, hockey,
soccer.
You can't bring your own basketball. They have hoops. They have hoops and you can't bring your.
But you can't play. Like they don't have any for recess or anything?
Now, they will have a couple of things. You can't bring your own,
but do they
have a couple of things they'll provide.
Okay.
They'll provide. But, like, the kids want to play baseball, they can't play baseball.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to bring a bat, and they don't have bats there.
Remember the movie Bubble Boy? That's what happened to poor kids these days.
You know what? That's a different discussion.
Yeah, poor kids.
Let's go talk about ServiceNow, everybody.
Everything you see. We were just talking about design and the AI change that is coming to this world, and I think we can give that same narrative to some of these software names even. But the job loss that has already happened and the job loss that is going to continue to happen is on the front-facing side of it so far. I mean, there's the engineering and the coding and stuff that's coming along too, but it seems like, anyways, it's what you see, it's what you touch, it's what you interact with.
Exactly, especially the entry-level positions where, some of the tasks are a bit more repetitive, mundane, things that can be kind of done easily by computers. It's a tough world, but, like I was saying to you off camera, we stop using it, our competitors use it, all of a sudden they're more productive, all of a sudden they're ahead of us. So it's a bit of a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't kind of situation. Apologize for the language there.
Yeah, no worries. Just real quick, on ServiceNow, it's worth noting, just in the last little while here, 20 minutes or so, there's been, a handful of analyst moves coming out with either maintaining or even there's a couple of price target increases I saw. So analysts seem to be backing this, even though it's down so much, saying, maintaining our overweight, maintaining our buy rating, maintaining our price target, essentially, even with the dip.
And this is not a bad report. It's not the best report, but it's not a bad report. And I feel, personally, the reason we're selling off is it's not because their product is not being adopted. It is. They have good participation, especially from big paying customers over $1 million. It's the market wants proof that you're going to be able to turn a profit. You need to monetize this, not just increase adoption. Let's talk about the report. 97 pennies EPS, that was in line on revenue of 3.77 billion. That beat the 3.75. Subscription revenue, also a slight beat there, but the growth was impacted, sadly, by about 75 base point headwinds from delayed deals in the Middle East. A lot of that stuff, obviously, on the back burner now. They got bigger fish to fry over there. Q2 subscription guide, decent, 3.815 billion to 3.82. That's ahead of the 3.75 estimate by the street. But the key issue, again, the street wants proof of monetization, not just adoption. There is AI skepticism, as we've been talking a lot in the software space. We can thank our friends at Anthropic.
Yeah, this is, if we get some sort of follow through here today, this is going to be a pretty harsh rejection of this downtrend, guys, for now.
Yeah, this one, it doesn't look very healthy, but it's one of these, like it says, showing me the money situations, right? Like it prove that you're actually going to be making money and showing more explosive growth. The entire space can't afford to just meet or slightly beat expectations at this point. What are you going to do? And this wasn't one of the names that was able to kind of punch through and break the downtrend either. It never got through the 50-period moving average. It was always hanging out, looking weaker than a lot of other, I shouldn't say the rest of, but a lot of other names in the IGV. So it's on the other side of the coin. I already said, if I'm looking for a dip buys today in a software name, I want it to be somebody that wasn't under the microscope last night. So that means I'm not really that interested in looking at ServiceNow for a dip. It meant that I wasn't really looking at IBM, which we'll talk about. I'd be more along the lines of trying to find a bounce maybe in a Palo Alto or somewhere else, and be patient about it too. We just got a super chat here, and I just leave from Kevin Duke. Question: I had a trade in a halt yesterday What am I looking at as the halt list for direction? Well, without any details, so I'm assuming you're in something that halted overnight. It would be helpful if I had any idea
what ticker,
what ticker, like what halted overnight. That's a buyout that closed.
What is the symbol?
That's a buyout that's closing.
I'm saying URL maybe. I don't know.
There's a bunch of there's a bunch of halts from yesterday. It can't be these ones. That's a deal closing. That's a deal closing. IPS. I don't know what IPST is. Maybe it could be that. So here's the first thing I'm gonna do. Just go to the page that I'm at. Right, the NASDAQtrader.com has a current halt page, which will tell you the reason for any of the halts. So you just mouse over it. Like I can tell you right here. I don't know if it's IPST. Halt news pending. Right, so they have to release material news. If it's T1, you'll see it go T2, and then when it goes T3, after the T3 comes in, you'll maybe see a quote resumption time, and then a resumption time after that. I'm gonna look for an example if I can find. Usually you'll see updates, or sometimes it'll just go T1, T12 here, right? Because if it goes T1 and then T12, that's information requested by the Nasdaq. That's especially bad. If the exchange is asking for information, usually it's pretty bad. But typically, you just go T1, T2, and T2 is usually like news is in the process of being disseminated. T3, news has been fully disseminated. When that happens, you can get a quote resumption time and a resumption date. But if it's one of these, then there's no resumption yet. And I'm presuming it's not DHIL, because I know for sure that's a buyout that closes today, I think. So that's what I just go to that resource.
Never really wrote in after what the ticker was. All right, we'll talk about ServiceNow briefly here. A little bit of a headwind here. Margin's going to be hindered by the latest acquisition, about 1.25%. That's not horrible, but 22% year-over-year growth. That's pretty good if you ask me. The stock was absolutely destroyed yesterday off of the report. Some of the SaaS names continuing to move to the downside. Even the cybersecurity names were hit, as Neil and I were talking about. So ServiceNow may be a potential dip buy in a recovery, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. Operating margins down 1.25 by the end of the year. All right, let's talk about some SMCI, guys.
What the hell? Shrie's telling me crazy stories, man.
I'm going to have to repeat it.
All right. SMCI back downside here as well. We were just talking about the rejection of that downtrend on ServiceNow, but here's SMCI bumping into this morning in a big way and getting turned back around, heading southbound off. This is not great for them.
No, Oracle canceling a massive contract with the troubles that the company's already had. Not a good look. Let's talk about this, Brendo. There's a big contract loss here. The canceled deal involves an estimated 300 to 400 server racks. That represents about $1.1 to $1.4 billion in lost revenue. That's a big one. The reason is the criminal allegations. Remember this? Federal indictment for SMCI co-founder Wally Liao and others allegedly smuggled $2.5 billion worth of NVIDIA chips to China. And this is what I was telling Brendo off camera. Prosecutors, these are allegations, okay? So they haven't been found liable in court. Prosecutors are alleging, guys, that the group used elaborate methods to bypass export controls, including using hair dryers to kind of swap off the serial number labels between real machines and dummy units. SMCI, they've launched their own independent investigation there, Brendo, into what happened. But I probably wouldn't put too much stock into that.
No, as we've seen in the past with them. I mean, right back to session lows here, guys. Things just going from bad to worse for this company.
The only difference is, the problem with that graphic is, I don't know why I'm smiling. Why would anybody smile when they're getting flushed? So I feel like I didn't get a proper description as to what we were going to be doing with that one. I should be like, not like happy and ish. So $27. Like it was a triple dip level. Triple dip. 1, 2, 3 back here. I guess that'll be last week. Doesn't really matter. If we are underneath 27, I'm looking fade. This is a classic. It bounced all the way to prior resistance. Now you're under the 50 period. Now you've broken the uptrend. So as long as it is under 27, I am going to play fades in it. I just double check. Well, we had locates on it yesterday. I didn't want to make the assumption. So we have locates on it. I'm going to be looking for the short here in SMCI. They don't get the benefit of the doubt. Not these guys. Not for me. Maybe this isn't true with the Oracle. Possibly. But with SMCI, it just feels like usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, in this instance, there is an absolute, I mean, borderline forest fire with these guys here, Neil. There's a lot going on. I mean, $2.5 billion in illegal China service sales. Sharif was talking about that, losing a potential $1.4 billion deal with Oracle, fishy accounting practices. I mean, for SCDI, if those who know what that is, this is exactly the type of management you're looking for, but in all reality, the street isn't going to like it. I'm surprised they weren't going to be delisted at one point. They found some of a way to recover, but this is just a name that I avoid at all costs. You know what I mean? We don't want to play with these kind of sketchy subjects. Essentially, like you were down in the dirt for quite some time. Finds a recovery, but there's definitely some issues with management right now. And it's funny because I was watching Mad Money and Jim Cramer's like, yeah, he loves the management. This is like a couple of years ago anyways. He loves the management at SMCI. But these guys, like, well, I don't know.
You know what though, at the end of the day though, like lots of people have been fooled by bad companies. Then we have a super chat from son of Daniel Gouda Guru. The more bad news I hear about the SMCI guys, the more I admire them.
Yeah.
Oh, we know you're being a little tongue-in-cheek there.
Yeah, it is. Well, because I mentioned SCDI.
Well, SCDI, I mean, the cheese dispenser business is clearly a little bit more secure than what SMCI has going. I think we all can.
They're in partnership. They're probably doing illegal China sales, too.
China. You can sell cheese dispensers wherever you want. That's the genius of the idea.
But can you sell stolen cheese dispensers?
Well, that just means your margins are better.
Their margins
are better. You're comparing cheese dispensers to stolen cheese dispensers. All I hear is better margins. And so I'm an investor right there. Let's go back up and talk about another beleaguered software name.
Yeah, the initial move higher after the close last night. There were some questionable areas to this earnings report. We did actually take out the high. That's been a bit of a problem over the past couple of days before this thing gets absolutely crushed. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 attempts here this morning to retake some levels, but just no bid for IBM.
No, and it hasn't really kind of recovered since the worst day it's had since February of 2000, after that Anthropic kind of released there about their Claude AI model. So the whole thing about that was the Claude's model, Claude's ability to power this Siebel code modernization. That's viewed as a threat essentially to their mainframe business, and that's why they sold off aggressively. With respect, though, to the earnings report, let's talk about it here. Clear EPS beat and a good year-over-year increase, $1.91 versus the $1.81, and growing at about 19% on revenue of $15.9 billion versus the $15.6. That's also a healthy 9% year-over-year growth on that top line number. Software up 11%, specifically Red Hat and acquisitions. That's their strongest segment, and that they have AI tailwinds there. Infrastructure up 28% year over year. That's mainframes. That's kind of what I mean about that. Consulting up 4%. Guidance, though, and part of the reason we sold off unchanged. The market was looking for an increase in guidance there, about 5% in constant currency. That was the key disappointment, Brendo, and likely why we're markedly down here to start the morning.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out a little bit, maybe there's something to talk about down around 230, back to the bottom end of the range here, though. It doesn't look good here, guys, on a higher time frame for IBM.
No, you know what? I was ho-humming whether actually this should just be a flat bottom break, one of those. I'm still lament the fact that we have this key, and we don't have anything for the other direction, right? Like it should be able to hit something for when something's breaking through a big top, but we're not. It's not till 230, and the issue with that is you got to travel a bit. I usually say when you have a company like this that retraces a move all the way on earnings, the usual saying is if you don't break the low, there's only one place to go. And it didn't bust through that 230, and it put in a higher low in the aftermarket, and it's put in another higher low. Yet for some reason, I don't want to buy the dip here. Go figure. Like, it's got all the trademarks of it looks like it could be a buy the dip situation based on where it had support before and where it bounced in the aftermarket and how it's bouncing now. But I don't like it. I think I'm going to be looking for a shot at Intel today. We already talked about some of the nuclear names. I like to look at SMR. I'm going to have that on the brain. SMC I'm going to have for the short. I'm going to trade some Tesla. I'm going to stay away from IBM. And maybe we can just give it the ye old 3-day rule. And next week, if it's still above 230, on Tuesday or so, and it's holding that 230 level, or bare minimum, hopefully the 220, then there's an opportunity here to catch a bit of a bid in IBM. I'm just not convinced today. You have your pick of software names that you could buy the dip on, right? Like there's literally every single one of them if you want to try to catch a bid. I think you might be a little bit safer having a look-see at maybe a cybersecurity name, somebody that didn't report.
Yeah, it's interesting here. I mean, like if we look at the technicals here, you have a multi-year run on the weekly, just straight to the top side. Now you're having an actual structural change, multiple weeks at the backside of this trend here, and then now you're at some key support levels at that 230. And Neil was just talking about if you don't break the lows, where do you go essentially? But with this massive gap down and potential momentum continuing to the downside, watch out for key levels to be broken here on IBM. I don't love it. If I'm going to be dip buying anything, I don't think it's going to be IBM. What are we down here now on the session here, Neil? It's in the Dow. It's in the Dow too, isn't it? There it is. Down 7% here today. I think we're gonna continue. All right, $5 super chat before we send it back to the desk. We got one more name here. Are we getting the point where mentioning NVDA means very little in a company daily run? Number Oklo. It's here or there. I mean, we know a couple of months ago, like late last year, as soon as those two, like a company name and NVDA were mentioned, sure enough, you had that volatility spike. It's the exact same scenario essentially was happening. It comes and goes, the volatility. Same thing with the USO and obviously the issue with in Iran is that, okay, yeah, the initial reactions, you get those massive spikes, but then eventually the street gets tired of it for a little bit and then it comes back and it comes and goes.
But this is up 8 points today, so it's not like, I mean, this is up pretty good the last couple of sessions in OKLO. So I would like to venture this one's reacting pretty well. It's crazy because like you have nuclear names that are higher, you have weed names that are high, you had HIMS that was actually making some runs here. The market's barely to the downside, but it feels like every single one of these names in the rundown, we're talking about something negative. And once again, we'll look at Lulu, and that will be negative. I just wanted to throw up, if I could, the imbalances, because it's 926, and there's nothing crazy. But ServiceNow is on there, so lo and behold, 500,000 to the sell side, shocker. And then we just talked about nuclear names, SMR, 380,000 to the buy side, Oracle sell 200,000, Tilray's a small buy of 180, and Oklo, we just said, about 177,000. Small buys, I guess ServiceNow would be the only one that stands out. Nokia's up there, but it's a $9 stock or $10 stock, so that's not a big notional value. The only imbalance I think of note would be that ServiceNow $92 stock, 570,000 sell imbalance for them, and maybe there'll be a sell imbalance on Lululemon with their new CEO.
Yeah, there's the chart this morning, back to 154 after Heidi O'Neill gets the nod here for Lulu after a lengthy search for this CEO. Prior positions she held at Nike included president direct-to-consumer, key, 2016 to 2020, and then president consumer and marketplace. Both of those for Nike. Again, that was her last one, which was 2020 to 2023. So if Lulu is focusing on the online a little bit more, the D2C side of the business, maybe this has some sort of tie-in.
But your chart says a lot of the story right there.
Yeah, market doesn't like it.
I know it doesn't. And their skepticism is because investors are reacting cautiously to her 25-year tenure at Nike, which overlapped with the company's, quite frankly, really bad struggles, some of the worst in their history. And analysts are saying that parallels almost the same issue that Lululemon is facing right now, kind of Nike's downfall. Lulu's also, just look at the chart, activist investors as well. The move ignores the preference of Elliott Investment Management, who pushed for former Ralph Lauren CFO Jane Nielsen, founder Chip Wilson. Also, he kind of remains in the proxy fight against the current board. There are competitive headwinds, though, we know specifically for Lululemon, Alo, as well as Vuori and some others. And yeah, looking here at the last 12 months, some of the worst in the company's history, down 38%.
Yeah, chart doesn't look good on any time frame at this point. Remember, 9:45, some data coming up today, guys. Good luck.
Yeah, you're right about it not looking good on any time frame. There's nothing you can do with this. No. It looks like on the monthly chart, it's losing Hundo. It's everything about it says wait for it to make some kind of a rounded bottom or consolidation. Yeah. It looks nasty, and I'm not a fan. And we're not touching that one with the 10-foot pole. Still just ServiceNow, 800,000 to the sell side in there. A couple of things we'll be looking at. It wasn't just the fact that Mobileye reported. It wasn't just the fact that Terafab is going with Intel. But I do like the 65 level for a bounce zone there. One I want to watch. And we didn't get a chance to talk about the metals. Silver did an insane rally all morning long. But as long as it's under the 70 and prior high, like there's this dump zone, well, the afternoon dump zone and then this prior support level, sorry, I mean support level, not resistance. As long as we're under that 70, I want to look to fade some pops in SLV. Can't say I love it as much as I did 2 days ago, but that was a long consolidation. If you don't break back above that price, I'm looking short on this bad boy. Joey chuckles, what's going on?
Oh man, I'll tell you later, man. So my mom was watching yesterday, and actually I'll tell you now, just before the open, she's like, she called you Neapolitan.
I'll take it.
I don't know. Yeah, you know how
I don't know. Okay.
It's just Neo. Yeah, I don't know. We'll take it, man. It's nothing. Yeah, just.
You know what's crazy? When I watched The Matrix for the first time,
yeah.
Like I remember the first 20 minutes or however long in the movie, I thought they were saying Neo, but it was Neo.
Yeah.
And then I heard it maybe the fifth time. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. It's not.
All right, yeah, guys. So we got SMR on our mind here today. We got some Netflix as well too. We're gonna see what we can get going in Tesla for a potential play, but SMR for the continuation in yesterday, or maybe it might be an all-day fader. It's Thursday, it's not Friday, don't forget. But ding, 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 there it goes. The casino is now open. So let's be patient, wait for some good quality opportunities to fall in our lap. We have Adara, we have Sia behind us, ready to drop news at any given moment. If the headlines come out, you're gonna hear it first here. And then sure enough, we are going to be putting on some banger trades. We're gonna just be patient. I know yesterday I said we're gonna wait the first 10 minutes and I was in 60 seconds later, but that's not gonna be the case here today. Unless SMR does me dirty and sets up exactly how we want to, then maybe we'll look for an opportunity on that one, Neil.
Ooh, bye-bye Tesla. Tesla already through the lows. Well, it's the dip buy on the earnings to get a pop and fade is not happening over there on Tesla, so that's not going to be going up. Intel's actually looking a little bit strong, but I want to look first at SMCI. That is gravitating a little bit higher. So if this one gets up there, that's the first place that I wanted to look. And there meant that 27 level. Just looking at that as resistance for now. Don't forget, it wasn't just the nuclear names that were running. You have HIMS absolutely flying off of the open here. It didn't hold on to VWAP, but it did manage to hold on to the 30 level, that prior day opening ring. So HIMS in play. It wasn't all negative news in the market this morning. And Intel was one of the names I liked to the long side. That's just trying to get above VWAP. I guess it doesn't want to test that 65 bottom from yesterday. But I want to be patient, confirm that we're holding it. A couple of wicks down to the pre-market low. I'd rather get it in front of that support level if I could.
Yeah.
Avis.
We took, again, it just set up, right? The couple of days, I did, honestly, Neil. I didn't want to. I didn't put very many shares, full disclosure, and I'll be prepared to get out if it comes right against us. I put a little bit on that Netflix trade. We'll take about 40 cents or so on that. Let's see if it's going to break through that pre-market. $25 billion, I mean, adding an additional 6.8 to the total share buyback program, which is sitting around 15 or something along those lines, billion. So that's a substantial amount. We take this Netflix trade, and I'm telling you, it's like a quarter risk unit, all right? It wasn't very much, Nolan. I know I said I was going to hold on to things, but if it comes back to our break even, then we get out, no worries whatsoever.
Oh, what a dump by Quamscape. Well, I guess QS isn't going to hold on to the volume-weighted average price. Ooh, I had my trade for this one was hold the pre-market low and go. So it just wicked the pre-market low, which was about 880 or so,
there it goes.
And is trying to go back to the upside. The market's doing pretty good on day two, but I need to, come on, close this above 20 seconds, you get this candle close, and if it's able to close holding the pre-market low, then I'm gonna look for the long here on QS. Still nothing doing over in SMCI to be able to fade. Tesla's really not moving a heck of a lot at all either. Okay, now it's gonna close in the green. I'm going to needle in. Yeah, Tesla's starting to go to the upside. I'm going to needle in because I know it's going to close. Just want to get a little bit in and then look to see if I can add if the $9 level holds. But this will be a pretty easy exit if we just flush right back through. Oh, thank you, Intel. You're already at 67? Seriously? Wow. That stock did not wait at all for me. Gonzo is Intel. Gone. And gone.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, we got all out of We trailed this on Netflix. It just came back. I'm like, you know what? It looks pretty weak right now. We can see it on the tape. Even though it is climbing higher, I think this is going to be a massive inflection point. 94.61. If it breaches that, then maybe off to the races you go. That share buyback program strong. So we'll see if we can find some other opportunities to get involved with Tesla. But a nice little scalp to start the day off. SMR coming back in. I had a little bit of a hunch that was going to be the case here, Neil. But then Tesla starting to find a little bit of a recovery. So holding on to positivity. You're up 1% in SMR. Netflix, you're up 1 1/5 here. And looking like you want to continue to climb almost closer to 1 1/3. IBIT's in the corner of my eye, but am I loving the setup? Absolutely not. I mean, it's not really doing too much. Neither is the overall market. If this closes as a 5-minute hammer on the NAS, maybe we can take an opportunity on that. But with that being said, we have to look at and see what NVDA is up to, what Apple, who went on a monster run yesterday, Microsoft went on a pretty big run as well, too, yesterday. So a lot going on. There's no shortage of opportunities, but I don't think Bitcoin is strong right now, considering where we're sitting in the overall market.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm not liking this bounce. It tries to hold this 9 level, but every time we get back in close to tops, it just keeps smoking it. So I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna tighten it up to this bar here. I'm not gonna give this to the low of the day. I think that's gonna end up being too wide of a range because I'm not as huge of a fan of this one. It ended up closing, but you want to get that immediate snapback. So I'm gonna go back over to SMCI. If you're just tuning in, they potentially, or at least allegedly, have lost $1 to $1.4 billion in contracts from Oracle. So it's coming into that 27, hot and heavy. Want to see a topping tail candle before we get in. But yeah, that QS didn't feel right. Watch it break the low too. So I tightened the stop up, didn't want to give it to the prior bar. Call it that's more of a gut feel than anything else that I wanted to move it. Maybe it'll save us a little bit there. So SMCI is going to be in play. Watch what happened to Intel. Yeah, buddy. I even chased it. That's the crazy part. I tried to chase this break and didn't get filled on INTC. That's how it is sometimes. It's easy to catch a dip buy, but sometimes you can't get on the way up. This happens a lot on Intel, where the initial move is complete insanity, and then the first trade I take is the one in the other direction, but it's worked, so don't at me when I said I was bullish on it. It's rejected heavily between 68 and 69. So if I see a topping tail, believe me, I will take my shot in it in the other direction. But it is going to be SMCI I'm looking at next. I do want to mention, we did not say anything about Avis today. It is still falling. It's at $377 and still cratering. Down 15%. It is SSR, so the uptick rule is going to be in effect for Avis for today. Based on yesterday, like not because it's down 15% today, but based on yesterday, that's going to get to, it feels like that really wants that 200 level. It's like the stock is just, it's dead. It's gone.
Yeah. I mean,
squeeze is over.
There was Netflix on, there you are. You're in SMCI now to the short side.
Well, I wanted 27.
So, okay. So
it just tagged 27.03 or something as the high.
Yeah, so I mean,
take the first sell.
Yeah, we got out of Netflix here, guys. We can get into a little bit more detail. I want to see what the price action is looking at. But this 1 minute candle is pretty strong. That's why I decided to go long. Boom. We didn't get that pullback, and off to the races it went. I didn't put any shares on, full disclosure. It was just really little, just to see if we can get a little bit of a feeler, get the ball rolling here this morning. And the same thing with SMR, not doing what I wanted it to. Looks like it might break down, but we have to be cautious of a potential squeeze as well. The rejection of VWAP, we form a base up here, so it acts as resistance, and then maybe we'll get that slight curl over. We'll have to see if we need to order shorts for SMR. But nonetheless, I would prefer to go long on this one. And then Tesla also trading above the volume weighted averages. Pack, you're doing pretty. It's above VWAP. I have it above VWAP.
Oh shoot, I have the wrong stock up.
Yeah, I have it above VWAP now. 1246. You're in at 1210 on a boatload of shares there. So congratulations on that one. There you go. You grabbed 30 cents or so. Let's see if it starts to recover and continues its recovery. We were talking about this earlier. We've seen it in the same instance of a different name. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was consolidating. It got that breakout, and now you're finding some form of a continuation and a recovery from the earnings report last night and the call. So, I mean, nonetheless, let's see if Tesla can get going. It's going to be positive for that market. IBIT going to the south side, while the NASDAQ is climbing higher, SMR below, Tesla almost putting in a new HOD. This is what we want to see. Adara.
Avis just got its first halt of the day. CAR halted to the downside. This is the 1 minute chart, just kind of show you guys. We've had like nary a green candle, maybe one flat candle here all morning. To be fair, only 8 candles of the day. But again, CAR halted right now. Theoretical auction price or TAP is just under $363. Also, letting you guys know, as Brendan mentioned this morning, we are going to get some PMI data. So 9:45 a.m., whole slew of S&P PMI numbers. Stay tuned. I will deliver those for you in roughly 7 minutes. Back to you.
I looked at the chart, I was like, maybe there isn't. But car, no? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't, it's hilarious. I didn't even have that one up off the open. Intel just did the wick at 68, but we got some out at half on SMC ISL, and then it just broke the top. So it gave the 1-to-1, looked like it was doing that little bit of a pullback, but then we get run through the top. This is one I'll take multiple shots at, I think almost certainly, if we get another crack at it. Avis is halted, as Adara mentioned, so I was gonna show that, but I don't have to now. What happened yesterday doesn't look like it wants to on Intel. Like, this was my best trade yesterday outside of the DJT in the afternoon was pretty ridiculous, but that's a different beast. No, but this was the best one yesterday, which was that flush back through, and immediately that flush back through 68 does not work. So if that's not going to happen, I was bullish on the stock, but I had to take the shot. It's actually worked twice in the last week, but maybe today is going to be built a little bit different. It could still end up a topping tail candle.
Ooh, look at that.
But by the time you know it's a topping tail candle, the stock is way down. So I had to try to grab that on the front end if I could. Tesla's approaching that 383. I want to see Avis open back up. Whenever Avis opens back up, I'll probably give a quick look at it. Susan asking, how are car options halted?
Are they?
Are they? I can tell you this is going to be open in 2 minutes.
Oh, well, I mean, I think the stock is halted at 360.
It doesn't open up for another...
It's at $362?
Another minute and a half.
Oh, my God.
So you got like 90 seconds, and then it'll be open. But it halted like right away off of that open. There's a flat bottom break. Not a flat bottom. There's a support break at about 330. Yeah, it's 330. So $330, there's a support level break on this bad boy. We're going absolutely ham in the wrong direction, everybody. Yikes. But we have free, I don't know about everybody else, but in real trading, you can short car for free. Absolutely free, which is crazy. All right, here comes Tesla. Tesla's gonna threaten to go green here.
Yeah.
Now it's this support level. That's where I'm waiting for. The NASDAQ is not even green yet. Like, we're actually at the highs here on the NASDAQ, which seems like it's on crack right now. And if it can't break through that 27.1, then I'm going to stick with the plan of action and be patient and just look for those quick little revisions if we're able to get them. Car, like I said, car should be open up any second now.
NASDAQ, yeah, man. Oh, I wanted to take the short on SMR here. I don't know if it's going to...
I thought you wanted longs in SMR.
I did, but it's not displaying. It's a short, right? Like, it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's looking like a short, so I'm not going to just fight it. I got to go with the flow on that one. It's my primary. It's just getting in sync with the stock. But it would have been more ideal if I could caught a little bit higher. I'm not going to risk 30 cents or 25 cents on this with the high 90s and 96s. Yeah, and it looks like it's going to continue to sell off here. Netflix a little disappointing as it's coming back in. Yeah, I know. I can't believe with car, man.
By the way, that was it's sort of a long-standing, when the NASDAQ is having a strong day or a strong move, lots of people on the floor would just use that term. So anyway, I don't normally call the NASDAQ that. It's just, sometimes it used to get said a lot on the floor, and I guess I just slipped right back into it.
There it is. Like, I mean, a high of 400. Yeah, 400. Nothing wrong with that. 400 or $846 now down to $360.
Wow, that was a turn.
The turn for the ages. Like, I mean, wow.
Oh no, I mean Tesla.
Oh, and Tesla. Oh yeah, coming back into VWAP. Yeah, heading a little bit lower. I mean, the market's holding up relatively well. We could take a look at the larger names. I could tell you that if Apple's finding any form of a continuation, no, Apple's coming back in too. So there's a little bit of a lag right now, Neil, but what we have is NVDA going oppo the market, holding us up steady here. And what's Google been up to? Not too much. Pretty choppy, and Microsoft to the downside as well. Just trading right at the volume weighted average price. Microsoft, Amazon. How are you performing? How are you doing? Tesla starting to come back in, so maybe some form of a dip buy. But this is the level that we were talking about this morning, Neil. That 385 mark. Look where you run right into. So this consolidation in the pre-market now acting Let's see, where do we got? Default, yeah, okay, good. So now acting as resistance and as you head back in towards VWAP. So keep an eye out on Tesla, the big names, AMD up to 304. I said, let's see if we close below 315 by the end of the week. That's not good. So those premiums, let's actually pull those up, those 315 strike prices on the call side and see what we're gonna be collecting now from a premium standpoint. 315, oh, okay, that's one. Why does it always do that to me? Why you gotta be so rude? All right, there we go. Yeah, no, don't do that to me. I'm only joking. $1.91. What were we collecting before on the day? I'll have to pull that up and we can take a look. But then the 322.5s, 85. So not too bad. You do collect more on the previous. So yeah, I like this. We close below 315 by the end of the week. I like our chances on that one. There's nothing from a supply standpoint or an open interest that's really acting as resistance. I just don't know if we're going to climb another like 5 or like a 2.5 to 5% by the end of the week. A couple of days.
Yeah,
a day, like 2 trading sessions.
Car insta halted down.
Did it?
It opened up, immediately halted down. It didn't seem like it even moved far enough for it to do a second halt, but it did. So it's halted for a second time, and that'll be another 5 minutes. Wow, I couldn't even get into that one. Is what it is. Like, you couldn't even get in on that candle. Let's go to Adair at the desk for the first time. By the way, USO is heading back to the high. So oil futures are going up with the market. This is another reason why I'm still thinking, waiting for my chance to fade.
Only set of economic numbers today after the 8:30 numbers. We don't have any numbers at 10, but at 9:45 in just 10 seconds, you're going to get S&P Services PMI forecast 50.6, manufacturing PMI forecast 52.5, composite PMI forecast 50.6. These numbers start coming in. Global services PMI coming in at 51.3. That's going to be slightly above estimates of 50.6. Manufacturing PMI coming in here at 54. That's above estimates of 52.5. And composite PMI 52. That's going to be above estimates of 50.6. So all of these numbers coming in above estimates here for the S&P PMI global composite manufacturing and services market. Here's the 3-minute chart of the Q is dropping a little bit here, likely nothing to do with these numbers. But again, no numbers at 10, though at 10 a.m. we're going to have U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, I believe, testifying in front of a committee for the second day in a row. So I'll certainly be covering that for you all if there is anything of note to come of that. Again, halt or in car if we get any other news. Keep you guys posted. If not, see you at 10 a.m. for Happening Now.
Yeah, I'll continue to look at CAR, but I'm not going to try and trade it again. You couldn't. It's SSR, and when it broke 350, the spread was $3, and you can't hit the bid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you're supposed to get into the short unless you just take it way against.
So how low do you think we can possibly go on this now?
$200.
Yeah.
Well, $200.
Start breaking out.
I remember looking at a daily chart at one point and saying, and then being like, yeah, $200 looks pretty reasonable when I looked at the daily the last time. So as USO gets into the high, I'm going back over to like just regular plan of action, which was take a second shot at SMCI. Took it at the 27 level. Now we got a topping tail candle at the quarters, so I'm going to look for that reversal. We have a super chat, and it looks like it's about options. So if we can throw that one up, Andre, thank you.
Yeah.
Stoll, how do you steal?
Yeah, I mean, he got $150. He bought the $150 strike price puts at Henry. That's a smart play. But when we did our bear put spread yesterday, the stars weren't aligning. But anyways, I'm glad you got those on car when price was over $800. Right now they are flying around on bids, but limited buyers. How would you play these? I mean, like, look how much you've dropped. You've halted consecutively. How many did you buy? 20? There's nothing wrong with locking some in. What are these things even worth? What did you pay for them? I mean, and if there's big time liquidity issues, which you tend, it's going to be significantly harder to get out. I don't know when you, 5:15. Okay. Let's see what we got from it's I'm looking at AMD. I'm like, wow, we're not really running into liquidity issues, but that's not necessarily the case. Putting calls, 150. Sorry, I wanted to put up an SMR trade there, but now it's kind of went out without me as we talk about this. Yeah, liquidity issues aren't too bad though, right? Like volume 269. I don't even have any information just because it's halted right now, right? So I would look to take some off just in case you do get that inverse play. You have 20 of them. I wouldn't be surprised the appreciation within those contracts is absolutely is out of this world. So nothing wrong with locking in, Brian Shannon would say, hey, I'm going to take a third off, let some more run, and then take an additional third off. So I think that's your best bet, especially with a name like this. Mark my words, cards will bounce at 200 of a card. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like I do believe that you're going to see a bounce in it. Yeah, I do believe you're going to see a bounce, right? Like you drop in like $500 in the span of a couple of trading sessions. At one point, you find a bounce on that one. But yeah, crazy stuff. Congratulations to you. And you know what I typically say, Neil, is don't spend it all in one place.
If it halts like more than 3 times to the downside during the opening rush, sometimes you just get like that first time it doesn't halt is a bit of a bounce. But I don't know. I'm not going to take a third shot at SMCI till I see the other back end of the trade.
Yeah.
It's just too relatively weak, or so strong. And then USO, which I was looking to push through, that's starting to break trend as well. If that comes back down, then you got to respect the move that's happening in the overall market to set upside. Going to a name that I have not had at all, which was on the note, SLV hasn't really pushed back into the high. It's just not a reason yet to trade it. It's bouncing off the open. It's a huge move in the morning. It was actually a bit of a crazy move on SLV this morning to get up in here to that 69.7. And if it gets back near that top, I'm looking for the fade. The fact that the market was able to break the high without it getting there, I think makes it a little bit more attractive to look for the fade. Because I'm not really buying this opening move in the market right now. Just not entirely convinced of it. CAR just broke that 330 level. It's very likely to go into another halt. This is not a trend break. I need this to get up to like 69.5 or show me some kind of a lower high where I can set up a trend trade. I don't know if you've looked at IBIT today, Joe, but it is absolutely not moving.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything.
Dead flat, complete nothing burger. The weed names were in play. They got absolutely rinsed, so that opportunity is gone. HIMS was holding, it got rinsed, so there's no long there either. Like you can't continue on some of these, what are we calling it? These like gap and go type runners.
Yeah,
like they've given up the go.
Exactly.
They gave up the go.
They gave it up there. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking was going to happen. I mean, it's obviously a positive catalyst for the stock, but some of these aggressive pops, what we've been noticing as of late, there's very little continuation with these volatility spikes to the top side. So we're in SMR. We had that scalp here on NFLX. Now we're short SMR. We're just getting in sync, right? Like I was looking to play the name regardless of the direction. More ideally, I would have liked to have the long put on. Just due to the fact that I'd just hammer some shares at the volume-weighted average price. But you can see that it's really starting to move lower here. So SMR working for us to the downside, looking like it's going to give back a little bit of its gains from yesterday and in the pre-market. So we'll continue to hold this until we hit some targets. 1350 would be ideal, but there's a clear support level right here at this 1366 mark. Other than that, yeah, CAR, just guys, be cautious. Now you're open back. You're up at 328 now. You're down 26% on CAR. Like, oh my God, this is a lot of fun.
It just didn't halt there for the first time.
Let's pull this up here. 346 on CAR. He's continuously moving down. You're down 26% at this point. It's an absolute disaster if you've been caught on the long. If you've been thinking about shorting this thing and you got in at the right place. Listen, it made a lot of individuals a bunch of cash on the way up, but it's making a lot of the short sellers some cash here as it drops $500 in the span of a trading session in a fraction of one, because we're only about 20 minutes after the open here today.
Yeah, this is the first time it's actually showing any semblance of a bid. But I think it's crazy to try to, like the first time it wants to catch a bid, short into that would be a little bit nuts, because it comes down to where would you get out. Like every single trade is a where are you wrong, and if where you're wrong is unreasonable based on the entry, then you can pretty much forget. Like if 300 breaks, you could try to grab a 300 break. But again, with the SSR rules in place, you're not going to be able to get a reasonable fill. I don't think. I wasn't able to get one at 350. I can tell you guys that for sure. So SLV's still trying to go. I still see the NASDAQ and the ES kind of cresting at some of these tops. They haven't really broken. Still looking to press higher. I want to be patient about this one before I get into it, but it's starting to get a little bit impatient with that SLV trade. And then Intel, of course. Right? There's a difference between the front end and the back end. It does the wick. I get stopped, I don't get back in. The heavy candle, don't get back in, not gonna chase. If it ends up doing what it did yesterday, there was an entry underneath the volume weighted average price where it's like suck it up buttercup, and then that's what you have to take.
Yeah.
So if that's what it has to be, then that's what I'm gonna end up doing. Now going into a third halt is CAR at 314.
Is it actually?
No, it just halted. No, it did. It just halted at 313.97, everybody. So that is now 3 halts for CAR.
Yeah.
If it gets into the 200, there's going to be an interesting decision to be made. I can remember the morning when GameStop halted like 8 or 9 times to the downside, and there was an unbelievable long off the bid. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's where my brain is going right now.
You want a cup of Brosif or what?
Yeah.
Right,
What, you grabbing some?
Of course I grabbed one,
sure.
man.
You don't
I
have
just
to,
ask
man.
you and then, hey man, Randy's a busy guy. There goes SMR to the downside. We're gonna get some caffeine into us. It's gonna make it a little bit more fun, Neil, to be honest with me, because I'm ultra sensitive. Also, ran a 4K yesterday. Time horrible. It's not too good of a look. We got to get things back. But second run back from knee surgery.
You just had an ACL surgery. You're worried about the time that you run a 4K.
Yeah, obviously,
Dude, you ran 4K. You just had an ACL surgery. The fact that you did it should be enough. You can't worry about the time, man. I was the first time I ran after my Achilles, I was embarrassed with myself. But you know what you're working through, and that's what it's all about, man. Mad respect. I've never had a serious knee injury before. All right, so I'm taking the second shot. Hopefully it goes better than the first. Sometimes this is how it is. You don't get the best price, but you take what you can get, and you're not upset. I want to respect the fact that about here at 66.5, resistance to potential support, so scalping inside of the range. It doesn't, I have it from VWAP. I can't have it from up here, so I can't will this into some kind of $2 winner or utter nonsense. I have to play the range with which we're in. Who's this person at 90? Anyways, buyer at 90. I moved my order to 91 from 80 something. Just gonna give it to VWAP here on Intel. Frustrating, but you can only be frustrated for so long, and then at some point you just move on to the next trade. As I said, if you miss this trade, the next trade is typically under VWAP for me, looking for that 66.5 target. I'm keeping an eye on when CAR opens up. It looks like it'll be about 1 or 2 minutes here when that'll get back open. Come on, push through that 66.5. I'd love to see this flush through the 66.5, but there's buyers at that resistance level, or resistance to support. Might just have to trail this one. No chance. Are you serious, Trader Forever? I just saw in the chart, the market's doing a topping tail candle. ARM broke $200. They say there's a bull market somewhere. Every single time, I've said it before, every single time ARM has dipped under the $100 level, at or 100, I've been a buyer, and I've been selling 20% of it every single time it goes into this top. And this was the time that you should have held on to the whole boat. But you know what? Still got the other 80%. ARM at $200. Why is it so strong today? I'm not entirely sure why it's so relatively strong. I got to be real with you. I don't recall seeing a story on ARM, but I am happy about it. Don't know if I'd be buying some of those highs the way the market's looking like a bit of a reversal. So we're pushing through the bottom, and once that happens, which it is happening now, I'm going to throw a trail in. Adara, is there anything on ARM?
I'm clarifying, no news on ARM. They did pop yesterday as well, and apparently yesterday's pop is attributed at least in part to comments from SoftBank back on Tuesday, saying that ARM CEO Rene Haas is going to be taking a larger role within both SoftBank and ARM, as far as I can tell. But again, that's from Tuesday. Nothing new for this. I just wanted to provide an update.
Yeah, man. Cheers.
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 If you cheers, you got to actually cheers.
Yeah.
Although cheersing with coffee is suspect.
There
was one time Sean and I were like, we both knew it. The second they clinked, we were like, that was too aggressive. But they didn't. But they didn't break. Right. But you know when you know it's like, oh, we might have just screwed up on. Like right in front of everybody. Coffee be all over the desk.
Coffee everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna.
All right, this looks like a turn. I'm
Sparks flying.
I'm gonna stay within the normal bounds and take the VWAP trade to sort of, if you bounce off the support level, we'll get out and ring the register. Unfortunately, I did have to take a hit first and just didn't get it up there. It did the topping tail, but I got wicked out. You take the trade that you can and then move on. Just double checking, why isn't CAR open back up yet? Oh, still another 20 seconds. 20 seconds and this is gonna open. It's indicating flat. It's halted around 313. It's 314. It's halting or indicating 313. It'll reopen. So nothing too disastrous, but it's been a dumpster fire so far. Other names that we're keeping track on, some of the weed names, I don't know if they're going to be able to catch a bit off the lows. Nope, they're right through everything. Right through everything. It didn't even bounce off the $5 level MSOS. Yuck, yuck, and more yuck. What are you going to do?
Yeah. What are you going to do? We live in a shoe, man. SMR looks like it might want to turn around a little bit here. The market's starting to come back in. If we can get an additional leg lower, there we go. We're printing 39s, baby. Let's see if we can take some off here. Bang, we catch that fill right there on SMR to the downside. I would have liked a little bit better of a price, but we're going over some car options here at 1380. But nonetheless, I was just going to engage in what SMR was up to here today, and we're fortunate enough to be getting on this trade. If you want to try a short, you can look at 321. 320.09 on car. I don't know, like we can continuously talk about this thing. We're now we're down like $15 from that level. I mean, am I going to be chasing? It's been 5 minutes. There isn't a green candle.
Think you can get a 300 break? We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's put it like this: there isn't a green candle in the first half an hour of the session.
Well, I don't know. It's
on the
short
5 minute, that is. And then it's okay, so here it is, right? Like, so, okay, cool. We're going to classify this one. I mean, all right, if there's your green candle, the rest is like, oh, okay, we're moving lower, halt. Oh, yeah, my bad. We'll go red again, oh, halt, and then continuously move to the downside. So the short is in full effect. Am I going to be participating in this? No, because by the time that I eventually oh, yeah, let's get involved, it's going to rip $30 to the other side.
That's how it works.
That's how I like. So I mean, I'm not gonna get it. You bought car at 308. Okay, well you're $5 out of $3 out of the money now.
Yeah, but in this, like, what are you actually in a day trade? You're not risking 15, maybe bucks. I'm just trying to think, where you would put a reasonable 20, something like that. Like if you're not willing to risk that, I don't know. Like if you can find some kind of different entry. Okay, so. I'll get to that in a second. Another topping tail. This might be the last sell, but I can't promise it will be because it's still on structure. And there's a huge gap to be filled here to prior lows. So there's all kinds of places I could try to revert this. But just in here, the first time we got a 1-to-1 before getting stopped. The second time was like a clean stop out, if that's even a word. I'm going to look for VWAP here, try to hold some for the drain. But the volume weighted average price, I do want to make sure I'm out. The bulk out in front of SMR. And then going over to car, for those, I know there's probably people that are short this. Maybe if you were short this yesterday and you can hold overnight, I would imagine there wasn't much of a reason for you not to have been holding.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, where's it going to go? You just go out to the daily chart, find something. Maybe you go for, if it looks like it gets to the halt band to the upside, take it out, or I don't know. Like there's no set rules here. It's probably so far in the money if you have a short that a really ridiculously aggressive trail could be really effective in this particular case. It's just getting into the short as a day trader has been impossible. Yeah. Let's go back to the desk of the dare. You could
take a look here at the S&P 500. Nice start to the day here. We did pop just above, or just below, sorry, yesterday's high and post-market high, pulling back pretty sharply though to start, honestly, only 1 minute into this next 15-minute candle. President Trump here with a bevy of posts about Iran and what he'd like the Navy to do within Iran. So those tensions do continue. TSLA, unfortunately, buyers and sellers in tension. And as of right now, the sellers do appear to be winning. Tesla got as high as 408 yesterday after the bell on their earnings. They did have a beat, or I think roughly in line here on sales. EPS was a beat, lots of guidance and lots of Elon Musk typical lofty expectations here. Going to be using some Intel 14As, but either way, market right now not being too forgiving to TSLA. ServiceNow also getting hit pretty hard along with the entire software sector. Now, if you look at these numbers, not a bad look here, narrow beats for both EPS and sales, but ServiceNow did warn of some concerns here with quote-unquote geopolitical headwinds and how those could A, be impacting their situation here in terms of deals in fiscal 2026. B, saying there could be some near-term margin risks as well. Last but not least, SMCI, not an earnings name, but down an eye-popping amount here. Though, again, bouncing a little bit here off the open. Basically, reports here from, I believe, Bluefin that Supermicro could be losing a $1.4 billion contract from Oracle, ORCL. For what it's worth, last time I checked Oracle, they were also to the downside, though very likely on ServiceNow sympathy. And yeah, ORCL at day's lows, like a lot of these software stocks today. Bit of a bleak look for software, but it's never a bleak look if you join us over at TraderTV.live. So make sure to like and make sure to subscribe.
That's crazy.
Oh, what a rinse on CAR there. It was when CAR broke 300, the bid was 97 instantly, and then the next prints were like at 05. So you might have been filled low of day in 97, like 97 or 98 or something like that, if you even got it filled, because you throw your order out and then it slams you on the way back up, and now it's back at 05. And then I was telling Joe, I'm like, if I take that trade, you have to give it to 313. Right, so you're like the risk is about $15 on any reasonable, which it could be worth it. Don't get me wrong, like it could be worth it. Just stick to some traditional
Imagine
stuff.
trying to buy, like, why would you imagine trying to play a retracement play on this right now.
But trying to catch a bid?
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine a lot of things. I think it needs a two-handle on it before you start thinking about that. Like I'm considering it if it gets a 2 under it. Whoops, I'm still on the SMCI chart.
Someone's saying QuantumScape, Epic.
Yeah, like if it gets into the 200s.
Oh yeah, QuantumScape to the downside. Yeah, that's crazy. Same with SMR moving lower. All right, Adele.
Halt down.
Yeah, QuantumScape did have some earnings here, and they basically said they're going to, I think, do some kind of pivot here with a AI power infrastructure that was deal with QuantumScape. Let's take a look, though, at some of these China plays. CAR just halted again as well. FXI and KWEB on watch, as well as, your typical Chinese ADRs, your JDs, your PDDs, your Alibabas. Financial Times reporting that the U.S. is considering ways to hold foreign actors accountable and accusing China of theft of AI tech. Now, these reported accusations come with less than a month until President Xi and President Trump meet up in Beijing. So looks like the China and U.S. trade tensions heating back up at an inopportune moment. We are supposed to get more comments from USTR Jameson Greer. So U.S. Trade Representative Greer should be talking today. I'll be looking to see if there's a stream available for that. Back to you.
Thank you, Dara. Stop me if you heard this before, but Avis is halted down, which probably not a gigantic shock to anybody. The current tap is 290. It seems like every single time it halts, the theoretical auction price is just $1 from the close. That's been a bit of a pattern. So it's saying about 290, never any more than that. It's 291 currently. If it gets through 250, I'll maybe start hunting for some kind of a long play. But I got to watch out for the VWAP here has come in on SMCI. So we got our reversion. Looks like it might have a decent shot of bouncing off of the market's actually bouncing off of VWAP itself too. So here's the NASDAQ.
Yeah, I might like a long
trying to bounce
on the NASI, but
yeah, I get a retracement, it goes to VWAP. That's usually the target. I'm trying to hold on to this, but if the market bounces here, I should take what you can get and don't be upset as well.
Where's my boy Gorev at here?
Gorev.
Yeah, Gorev, are you liking this long here potentially? And Los Pollos, where you at? Where are those two individuals at right now? TQ is right at the volume. Yeah, exactly. Los Pollos, hermano. Yeah, Hell's Gate made it from watching you guys. No, sir, you press your own buttons. You've done that yourself. Don't. So congratulations. Have fun with it. Friday Junior for you. And as I say, don't spend it all in one place. Gorev, yeah, man, where you been at, man? Are you taking the long here potentially on the NASDAQ? What's going on? I have an uptrend on the NAS, so unless it breaks, it's a long. Okay, Hangry Wife thinking the long as well too. Maybe we can get a recovery in some of these big names. It's if you ask me, like QuantumScape is still bleeding. Wow. Okay, this thing is really starting to tank. Apple not doing too much. NVDA, is it leading the race? I think that's going to be one of the big tellers. Right now, it's at a key spot, right? Like a key inflection point.
Bounce.
Yeah. If we fail to establish a new high here, though, Neil, that lower high, then I think we may head back in towards the volume-weighted average price there. Tesla, what have you been doing? I mean, Christmas tree, as a lot of people were saying, Meta, somewhat of a recovery. So they're finding a bounce. Oracle, down to 176. This is a nice 1 minute print, but doesn't look there's going to be much follow through. I'm glad that we didn't take the long just yet on the NASDAQ, but Apple heading lower. If Google's climbing, then we're going to rock and roll. But no, it looks like the support level at 339 is going to be broken. And then with that being said, you'll see some more downside, most likely in the overall market and in Google. SMR been pretty good. I don't have too much left. Yeah, I'm going to be careful on that one, Hangry. There goes SMR continuing to the downside. Trend down here today. It was going from positive from a negative or from positive to negative. I know they say that in in reverse, but Biggie Small says that anyways. We'll take a little bit more off there. Bang. Let's see if we can post up at what are we at here now? 14s. We'll take some more off on SMR. It's been treating us well. Made a mistake though. Before I send it back to you, Neil. I took half of my position off right there. Shouldn't have done that.
That's a LOD.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah. It was literally at the LOD.
That was weird. There was just maybe just the one stock I was looking at. There was just a bit of a buyer that showed up on SMCI there. Might move my trail, but you know what? Guess what is not falling? I'm looking for something different, and it could really just be Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just doing nothing. The market came back in. It's holding around VWAP. There's no real flush, and it's breaking this trend a little bit here. Like it had well, it's not that long. It's just the pre-market to the open, and that's a reversal. I'm gonna take a shot there. And I also see SMCI holding VWAP. So first things first, this is SMCI. I was eyeballing it. A buyer really snapped up, was losing VWAP, and someone just snapped up. So I just punched out the last of it at the volume weighted average price. Sometimes you gotta ring the register.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, like I would have wanted this to be a little bit better, but hey, that's slow, higher low, breakout, potential higher low. Like at some point, it could just be a recovery, excuse me, on SMCI. So finding something a bit different here with IBIT, broke trend, does a reversal candle holding VWAP. It allows me to give it to that candle wick bottom, really only risking about 10 cents on it. So if the market holds VWAP, then I think I got something which has a chance at least to go.
I wish the feature was click the chart instead of click the tape. Imagine you could just click the chart on the level 2 and then it would give you the price that you want.
Oh, the chart?
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure you can enable that feature. I feel like.
No, it's you have to hit the L2.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can click chart, that'd be absolutely Deion Sanders there. All right, let's see if we can find something to get involved with. There goes the NASDAQ through the volume weighted average price. What are the other larger participants up to? NVDA not doing too much. Google, Apple starting to climb a little bit higher. Google potentially putting in a bottoming signal there. So if Google holds up, then we like it, which has happened right there. So yeah, we want to get involved in a little bit of the TQs. I think this one's going to be a trickier run. There was a good opportunity to get in.
Damn.
I mean, we're right at VWAP, so I mean, why not? Like, we have the opportunity to do so. We caught that additional fill on SMR. Let's see what everyone's saying. May 21th, CAR went exponential and dropped heavily like today. Yeah, CAR's going absolutely nuts. Can you take a look at Broadcom? Long, absolutely. We could do anything you guys would like to. Vinny Vici. Yeah, so let's see what we got going on here with CAR. Or sorry, no, it was Broadcom, AVGO. AVGO, yeah, I mean, new all-time high, once again, on this name. I mean...
It's not alone.
It's not... Who else hit that? AMD? What are we at now? What are we at now on AMD?
305.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it looks like we tagged... Yeah, we might have tagged those 6s.
Okay.
Yeah, we tagged those 6. You're at the 305 right now.
Damn.
AMD just cannot be stopped at this point. But, oh, shoot, I have to go back over to Intel. Oh, shouldn't have shown you guys AMD. Intel just did that reversal off of the volume weighted average price. Okay, I'm going to take a second, if I can get in. Basically, I'm going to look for the same trade off the volume weighted average price, if I can get it. But I might have missed.
I have to go with the short.
You look away for 2 seconds, and that's how it goes, unfortunately. That's fine. I'm going to keep an eye also on SMCI. That might still break down into VWAP for a secondary push underneath. For those that are looking at CAR, that seems like it's not wanting to halt again, at least temporarily. But AMD, a little bit of a topping tail candle, but it did this before. Like it flashed signs of a sell early yesterday and was able to rebound. I don't know if the market's going to be able to help it today. The market doesn't seem to want to hold 27K on the NASDAQ just yet.
Short is looking like, I mean, that long that I was thinking looking like a potential short. SMR is really bleeding here, though, Neil, to the downside. So
maybe Oklow's better.
Yeah. I don't have any animations or anything for you guys. Otherwise, we'd be firing those up.
How about that one work?
Yeah. Oh, it works perfect.
It's like, what's the guy? Shoot, the Marvel dude. Why am I Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider. Yeah.
How was I struggling to come
Nicolas
up with
Cage.
Ghost Rider? Come on, Neil.
Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nicolas Cage.
How have they not brought that back? How have they not done Ghost Rider?
I mean, didn't that guy blow through his whole fortune pretty much?
He did?
Yeah, that's what I.
Why then?
He's just like buying the most ridiculous stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I wouldn't. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, who knows?
That guy probably
who knows?
Come on, son.
Watching this new show called From. Have you heard of this show, From?
The guy from Lost is in it. Yeah, I know it.
From. If anybody watched that show, 3 minutes on Palantir. Let's see if the market holds up. It looks like it's breaking down. Let me know if you guys in the chat have watched this show From. Aside from that, yeah, the market looks like it wants to head a little bit lower. So maybe we'll yeah, I see a lot of people saying Cage is broke. But the market heading lower, it doesn't really know what it wants to do. And I think there's just too many things coming into factor that we have to keep our eye on right now in order for us to take a long on it. So we'll avoid it. We'll try to find something else. SMR can't get out of its own way. Just continuous to the downside. I mean, we have 2 green 5-minute candles after the open, and now we're trading around 1303. So it's been an absolute bloodbath here today for SMR, and there it goes, take an additional leg lower. So we'll take some more off there, Neil. We only have about 10% left now, leaving some for a rider. We hit that 1-to-1 essentially, and then we took some off half, and then this was all, I guess, essentially bonus as the market is continuing to slide here.
Yeah, the market continues to slide, and I'm going to rejoin the ride in SMCI. So it got out because it bounced VWAP. Well, I'm going to take a shot with it, looking like it wants to lose the volume weighted average price. But I do have a new target exit here, just respecting there's your lower high, and then you go into the open. So that would be it's not really an all-day trend because it's 10:15, but it does give me an implicit target area in addition to that bottom. So SMCI, I'll give it to the same trail that I had, I should say, at the previous short. So just into those 90s, and see if we get a continuation flush there. IBIT is trying, but it broke that trend line, got in, still had the stop at prior bar, but I don't know if it's going to be able to hold on to it. It's looking relatively weak. It tried to go VWAP, there wasn't a break. Felt like I should have been in the Intel short again. That missed. But we got an SMCI, but did not get the fill on Intel as that continues to go down, downside. Yuckity yuck yuck. The market doesn't want to hold up at all, everybody. Not a good sign. Oh yeah, that's right. CAR also broke the low of the day. If you're keeping track, there was a green candle, and it was not a long in Avis. Still think it's got to get closer. Just zoom out on the daily chart. It's now halting down. This prior high was 248 or something. And then this one in here, the most local, is about 217. There's a long way this could go. Long way. Yuck.
There goes Broadcom right back to the top side. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think there's a bottoming. It's not that I think there was a bottoming signal right there at the lows here on SMR. See, the market's right back up. So it runs into this support level of 652, and then it just squeezes right back up, right? So, I mean, there's a good opportunity. If you get into the detail of the price action, you can probably see some indecision prints right there at some key support levels. Off to the races you go. Gives you a little bit of a move. 60 cents, just like that, man. That's a nice little move there on the NASDAQ. Or sorry, 20 cents, what am I talking about? This is the Qs, so T-triple Qs. So yeah, not too bad of a play. I mean, it's been trend down, aggressive selling here and new scale power, and then you put in a little bit of a bottoming signal, bottoming tail candle right there. So you can see that we have a large volume print, and then you print that 1 minute. So let's see if we get that curl over. Who CAR did?
USO.
USO made a new...
USO just broke VWAP.
Oh, okay, to the downside.
Yeah,
so that's going to help with the...
The second that breaks VWAP, I can tell you in the same moment, just punch out of SMCI as that one head to the downside. But it's not seeming to help the long in IBIT, though. So it's one for 4 on SMCI. Thankfully, we had that Intel, but we're not getting much of a bounce. Bitcoin is doing a decent job of holding on to the lows. It's just not really doing anything with it. I can't add to this unless we crack, in my pin for myself, I can't add to this until it gains the volume weighted average price. It's one thing to make some higher lows, but I want to see this above VWAP to be able to build into it. It's good that USO is going lower, but it's just not looking perfect at all. Let's go over to the desk. We've got a Dara with an update.
I have a stock, actually, I know you are involved with it, at the very least, Neil, in our trades of the year. It's going to be FCX Freeport-McMoran CEO making some comments during their earnings call. They reported earnings this morning, saying that U.S. copper demand has actually risen due to AI and related structure, but we actually just got this most recent pop here in the most recent series of comments where the CEO says that in China they're seeing a significant resurgence of copper demand due to power grid spending and significant draws on Chinese inventory. So it looks like both China and U.S. copper demand strong, according to the CEO of FCX. See you guys in a couple of minutes for our small cap recap.
Yeah, but the bigger problem is like the more strength you see in oil, and the longer this goes on, you just start to see real ridiculous demand risk, and that's gonna weigh. That's just gonna weigh on all the metals, whether it's the dollar effect or whether it's the recession effect, potential recession effect. And with what you're seeing in Europe, what you're seeing in Asia, it doesn't necessarily bode well, all that well for FCX in the short term. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, I think longer term will be just fine, but yeah, not looking that good. I guess CAR is catching. This might be 2 in a row.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, what is it off of the lows? Holy cow! I was looking
it is off the lows.
Oh, Atlanta. I was looking at this thing at like 312. It drops all the way down
is that
to
from a commercial?
268. Oh, my Atlanta.
Yeah.
I have no idea, man.
Oh, okay.
We just get these sayings. I was raised by the elderly, so get all these weird sayings. Aside from that, like, there's the Nasdaq. I gotta avoid this thing at all costs. I think it's just a little bit more tricky to trade here today, as USO is climbing higher. I mean, there's a there's an indecision print right below the volume-weighted average price. Why isn't this thing moving? What are we trading at right now? What time is it? 10:10. This thing's 20 minutes behind.
What?
My USO chart. It's on a 5-minute time frame. Okay, there we go. That makes a little bit more sense. So, yeah.
Fail.
Yeah, I know, man. Hit that one more time for us, their asses here. Yeah, big time.
Fail.
That was probably like the most annoying sound ever when you're just like clicking on something on your computer and it just like would just always do that. But yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, you're long now, IBIT. You're thinking the long here.
I've been
Bitcoin.
Well, it was essentially just a trend break. I've had this trade oftentimes. Oh, another. Well, that's a halt up. Never mind. I just got distracted. No, it was this. Wick the bottom, higher low, hold the trend. It's held on to the wick this entire time. Like, it's got like twice, like almost every single candle, it's threatened to break the higher low without actually doing it. But it also hasn't given anything above VWAP to add to it. So it's just risking the 10 and it hasn't gone against. It hasn't broken the downside yet. Don't necessarily love it, but I'll take that usually 8 times out of 10. It's the add above VWAP that I'm usually a bigger fan of when I start to really like the position. Now let's go back up to the desk with Adara. CAR is halted up for the first time today. Adara? Oh, that was a miss.
We'll tell you another stock that's moving to the upside here, Neil, and actually at its high of day, it's Buru, B-U-R-U, New Buru. This is a name that I know for a fact has been mentioned on the show before, if not even traded during the midday. $56.5 million, no news, 22.5% short float, and as I mentioned, a name that gets a decent amount of traction and views by those who trade small caps. Pineapple Financial, a name I know we've also mentioned because Pineapple's over here. PAPL announcing they expanded their share buyback program now up to $15 million. Did get a pop yesterday after the close. We've got a $21 million market cap and an 8 million share float. Last but not least, AUUD Audia, another name that has certainly rallied in the past, secured their 14th patent. This one is going to be expanding their AI infrastructure portfolio to 16 issued and pending patents for parking lot deployments. Worth noting here, just under $4 million market cap for Audia. They also have a 500,000 share float, so small float and small market cap for AUUD. Back to you.
You got to try. Like, I was just telling Joe, like if CAR got like $100 from the volume weighted average price, then I would have been definitely looking for a bid. But it'll be a 5-minute halt on this bad boy. Okay, now IBIT's trying to hold on to the volume weighted average price. So it's been like a slow bounce on this. Still no real strength above VWAP yet. It just kind of travels in between. So I'm not adding on the low. I just don't feel like this is the right way to do so. What would rather see some continuation from the market as strength or to the downside on USO to maybe give a little bit more juice. It's just not looking that strong at all. And Intel is looking a little bit better. But I missed the reload at VWAP once. The market looks stronger the second time through. And the weird thing is I came in and was bullish on Intel off of the open, and then it ends up, sometimes it's how it is. You're bullish on it. doesn't really dip into 65. Now we're diddling in the middle. You take what you can get. The VWAP trade is what's next, for sure. And then Tesla, man. Like,
yeah, Tesla. Our guy.
LOD. Is the market really going to rebound if this is at the low and breaking lower? ServiceNow is at the low and breaking lower. Who else do we have under pressure? IBM's bouncing, so that ends up being not that bad. No way it bounced by lucky number. No, it bounced at 222. Oh, that's hilarious. I love 222.
Do we short the NASDAQ here at this support level? Like, it can't breach the volume-weighted average price. It's just that factoring what USO is up to with this thing is just making me a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger.
Well, what's your... Like, you came in today, and the first thing you were thinking when we got to VWAP is you wanted to look for the long off the volume-weighted average price. But the other thing that you always say, and I'm using your own words here, if you're looking at what to do on the Qs, you say look at the big boys.
Yeah.
So then that's what. If you want to pick a direction, maybe use that to help you.
They're too all over the place right now, in my opinion. So it's just like, the guy was just saying, we were talking about car. If it's that complicated to put together something, then I think it's just best that we avoid it, even though it's so tempting. I appreciate that, John.
Oh, it's real tempting.
Marin. It's so tempting. It's
like I said, if it gets 100, if the bid is $100 away from the volume-weighted average price, I'm going to look for a mean revert. That's just that's too insane. $100 from VWAP? It got to 73, just to give you an idea, and that was pretty far extended. Like, think of how absurd it has to be. Okay, we just went through, back to the markets here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna redraw the trend line. You get it. It broke the trend.
Pull.
We're holding above the volume-weighted average price now, so we're gonna leave the same stop in. I've added once, but I wanna get all in on a close confirming the volume-weighted average price here on IBIT, and then just look at that upward trend. So now you got a nice upward trend that we're playing into on Bitcoin. Remember, if you're looking at Bitcoin, you have to respect the fact, like, this is IBIT, Bitcoin is at 77.7, so 78,000 might be a little bit of resistance, so I will be scalping into this high on IBIT.
On IBIT. We've got to think of a poll here, because our boy Patrick was like, yeah, we didn't do a poll yet this
I feel like it's got to be somehow car related?
Car related, Tesla related. There goes there goes your Bitcoin long, Neil. That's looking pretty good. Joe, you are so much more brave with TSLA. I always trade in 5 or 10 cent intervals.
What's that?
No, but I mean, I wouldn't say that, brother. Like, I don't know what you mean in like 5 or 10 cents. Yeah, I use the exact same thing. Like, that's how I do that's how I do the math in my head. Like, it's, again, like, so here I'm like, okay, what's 20 cents up here? So we go to 93, X amount of shares. Say you're risking 100 shares, 20 cents, that's $20. I mean, it's not that simple. You add another 5 cents, $25. Like, that's just how I do it. I keep it simple. I keep it at like whole numbers. Like, I'm not gonna go in and like, yeah, I'm gonna buy 113 and a half shares at this level because it's this. No, I'm like, okay, how much risk am I putting on if it's 120, 150, 200 shares, right? If that's what you're meaning by. The TQ's moving back towards the top side. SMR starting to find somewhat of a bounce. Put some poll ideas in the chat. We'll get that fired up. Patrick, you were asking about if you wanted one. Sure enough, we can figure out some good things. Bitcoin continuing to move higher. Is the market going to rebound? We've had a half an hour. So what are we at now? We've had an hour of essentially sideways. We've had an hour of essentially sideways price action. The past half hour has been trading within this range. So maybe you're going to find some accumulation. Like, that's 652 exactly, and then 653 exactly have been acting as support and resistance. Neil, talk to us.
We'll talk to you about the markets, man. They're all over the place. They are active, and that means opportunity. And big moves means more setups. You get more momentum. But you know what? If you want to take advantage, you need a couple things. You need discipline. You need capital. And that's where Trade the Pool comes in, everybody. Instead of being limited by the size of your account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategies and managing their risk. No more fear of blowing up that personal account. No more moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your personal savings. This is limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of volatility in today's markets and you don't want to risk your own capital, visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code and get 10% off. Scan it now, get that 10% off. A deal is a deal is a deal, and if you can get yourself a discount, you can. All right, so we just got to pre-market highs. I get it. Bitcoin's a 24-hour market, but I'm still calling it the pre-market high because that's what it is. Now I'm just working off the trend line. We've scalped some out, and it's looking for either buy the dip because we fail the high and buy it back into the trend line, or look for the gap fill. So the gap comes in from here. First stop, the opening range bottom is just in the 30s, so I'll probably let's go Larry Bird. And then if we break a little bit higher outside of that opening range bottom, let's get into the prior close area, which would be 44.60-ish. I mean, it's 675, but I'll just put it to like 60 up here. So I have some definite targets up there. I'm just going to throw the orders out in case it happens. But I also am looking to buy the dip into the trend line. Oh, guess what? It halted down again. For those that are trading car, there was a bounce. I promise you, it did happen a little bit, and now we're halted down at 274. So the flush is very much still on in Avis. Yuck.
Yeah.
Nasty. Everything you want to say about it. Tesla's still heading downside. Well, I have to slap the fail on Tesla.
Ooh.
I do. Because while I was messing in SMCI and Intel, Tesla also pulled back into prior support and was probably actually a better short. Right? Like, remember, that's what happens. Sometimes that's just how it is. You know, like Intel, I guess Intel's pretty good. And might still be good, but that Tesla was pretty nasty.
Yeah, Jaw said it's free money.
What's free money?
Jaw said free money shorting car. Jaw's my boy, but it's not that. Is it free money, though?
It's been a win, there's no question.
It's been a win.
Well, I'll be real. Like, when it broke, it was 350 this morning. Remember, it is SSR, right?
Yeah,
So it halted down once.
Yeah,
It halted down once.
Yeah.
It opened back. There was an even $350 level to be punched. I got no fill, and then it halted down at 343.60. So it's a matter of, like, can you get in? And the thing about that trade is, like, you're giving it minimum, to me, a minimum 11, but like that's a risk to 362.67 plus whatever slippage. Remember I said $15 worth of risk? Because if you break the 50, if I got filled, probably like 49s at best. I think that's where you cross to. And then you're risking up to here, so add slippage in, that's $15 worth of risk. It would have been worth it, but guess what? SSR, you can't hit the bid. So either it picks you up on the way down, or on an upward move, you short it back in the upside. This is not a stock I want to short back in on the upside. I just don't want to do it. Because I feel like you could be insta-halt up and difficult to manage risk on it.
Insta-halt. Yeah, aside from that, I mean, you're getting the curl over here. IBIT you see that topping tail on the 5-minute there, Neil, on IBIT? I think we can break that, though. Like right through that pre-market high. Let's see what we get going on here.
It's putting in a higher low, but not a VWAP.
So is the NAS here, and I'm like, all right, there's a nice little play potentially. And if USO continues to move to the downside, you might be able to find an opportunity here for the NASDAQ to climb a little bit higher. Netflix looks like it wants to break down, but I don't think I'm going to be shorting this thing anytime soon. We'll just see what we got going on here in SMR to see if we take an additional leg lower. I mean, where can a potential target be? Let's map that out now to see what some next key levels are going to be on SMR. So we do give back that afternoon breakout. Could we be talking about a 1292 level? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, yeah, so there it is. Oh, Neil, didn't you point this out? At this previous pivot high at like 1292 on SMR. So you had that, you had that early session high right at 1292 on SMR. You bounce off of it a little bit here. So that was a big time pivot coming into play. Adair, what do you have for us?
We do have some comments coming from a Pakistani diplomat on the U.S.-Iran situation. I mean, nothing like earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but I do think it is of note and kind of highlights one of the issues here. So this diplomat saying that continuing negotiations between the U.S. and Iran will require concessions from both countries. Now, we know there are certain concessions that neither country is willing to make. We know the U.S. does not want Iran to have any kind of uranium enrichment or nuclear program. We know Iran really wants payment from the U.S. They want to make sure they control the Strait of Hormuz. So what concessions Pakistan thinks either country would be even willing or able to make is unclear. But either way, Pakistan's saying, I guess, until these concessions kind of occur, it's pretty tough for these negotiations to continue. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted.
VWAP short on Hertz right now.
Yeah, madness, bro.
Thank you in the chat reminding me that, like, you can, if you think it's going all the way back in, and Hertz had no business being up outside of following along, there's still some room here for Hertz to fall to 580. Like, that's 30 pennies, so you'd want if you're stopping there, I'd want to. You need to be filled in the 20 range. Yeah, I need to be filled in the 20 range, but I don't mind. Like, it just feels like sitting here in front of VWAP. If you're just gonna fall all day long, like it's like if I get picked up, I get picked up. It's not SSR. I don't have to worry about any of that other nonsense. So I'm just gonna sit on the offer, and if they pick me up on the way back to the upside at some point, then congratulations. And I know where I want to be wrong, and I know where it can get to. So IBIT didn't give us the reload into VWAP. It was just a simple trend break, take the higher low. Didn't really get the dip into the volume-weighted average price, but it looks like a hold. And I'm looking for the gap fill at this point. You know, the market's showing all kinds of strength right now. Like, if we can get back to the high in the market, I can see Bitcoin being as good, if not a little bit better. You're consolidating underneath VWAP here on USO. It's been all down for oil. I don't want to jinx it, but remember, a headline could come any minute now. You never really know. So we keep our ear to the ground for that. But for now, we're trending down. That seems to me to be good for the longs here. I mean, unless you're looking at 8.
Yeah, Hal, I hear what you're saying. What was it that, was it 2 institutions essentially bought about like 87 or like 80+%? So I mean, what is there really to investigate it?
They said they soaked up the float, but they also had there was also like some synthetic positioning as well. I've seen the videos and people talking about how it's over 100%. From what I understood, it was about 82, 83% that was soaked up by a couple of firms in Avis. And then until they released, and there was over 20% short. So it created a situation where the available float was less than what was already short. But if you consider how much this is turned over, A. B, the other thing that gets me, we've had free locates on, like here at Real Trading, we've been able to short this for free.
Yeah, that's
at will the entire time of this move. So at no point has it been, we're getting overcharged for it by our broker, which would suggest that those firms were willing to lend it out. And those holding were still willing to lend shares out. It's almost as if they wanted fuel thrown on the fire. That's the only thing I can think of. But either way, the over 100%, I don't know if I really ever understood that.
Helen Pack Rick, let's go. Yeah, I mean, no, Pack Rick is saying that Tesla finding somewhat of a rebound here. Netflix not doing that. SMR starting to find somewhat of a pullback. So what broker do you guys use? Sorry if this has already been discussed, just curious. This is a prop floor, right? So like this is a proprietary, the proprietary floors software. So yeah. It's not like a public broker or anything along those lines. Like your IBKRs or your whatever other like TDs and everything along those lines. Yeah, I mean there's the market, right? Like I was thinking about, hey, do we go long? Lemons or Hangry, were you still long this name here or the NASDAQ essentially? A nice recovery on Tesla here, but I still think it's going to be trend down. This thing is weak. This pullback seems, I know what you're saying about the volume there, Pat Rick, but it's just giving me weakness all around. I don't think we're going to get that full-blown recovery. A lot of indecision prints here on IBIT. That went on a pretty good run yesterday.
But look at what's going on in other places.
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah,
Amazon's
exactly. Amazon is strong.
Right
yeah,
now.
I've seen that. Amazon is, yeah.
Like that's looking pretty strong. Like you do have some things that look pretty, like if Apple can break VWAP here, I mean, it's an if. It's definitely an if. But with Amazon showing that strength, bad wick. Sorry about the wick there on Microsoft. Microsoft has clawed back to get to the volume-weighted average price and on the verge of just potentially breaking. Right?
Yeah.
You've got Meta out here, which is just barely above the volume-weighted average price on the verge of trying to break higher. Again, I just like the IBIT from the setup, and it's shown no signs of wanting VWAP on a pullback. I think it can still break out and get to this prior low from yesterday. Bitcoin, 78,000 would be next. That's the area that I'm looking for a bit of a not consolidation, but a bit of resistance is the word I'm looking for, where we're going to get it next. And then let's see what some of the other proxies are doing. Because I bet you, look at the turn on MSTR.
Ooh.
Like that's V-shape already into the highs. There's momentum back into the upside, man. Like oil is slowly heading down. It just feels to me like we're going to get some of this. It's kind of an arbitrary level that I'm sitting at. It's not arbitrary. It's just off of these lows from yesterday. If it fails close to, look, we're at 77.92.
Yeah.
So if I see this flash 78 and there's a seller at the 70, I'll probably just take some off there. But we're not there just yet. So I'm still going to give it a little bit more room.
Yeah, Neil and I both equally like Probably around the same. Neil trades it as much as I do. Maybe,
most days.
IBIT, exactly. Why not? There it goes, off to the races. NASDAQ climbing higher. We're almost at the high of the day on the SPY. We're getting SMR to slowly start to recover. Maybe we'll find somewhat of a curl around and we can reload this and take an additional leg lower. That would be pretty sweet. Texas Instruments up 16% as well too. Exactly, yeah, Tube. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here today. You're finding the recovery here in Tesla. Netflix looks like it wants to break down and give back the majority of this uptick here, adding towards that share buyback program. A total of $25 billion. That's substantial. Like, that's quite a bit.
That's a decent.
That's like a good amount, and that makes me even like it even more, right? More control behind the scenes, and this is essentially what we want from Netflix.
Well, when you asked the question this morning and was like, I think you put it to me, it was Netflix. Well, you have to buy one of Netflix, and then I think it
was Tesla,
Netflix. What was the third one?
What was it?
At these prices, what the heck was the third one?
Microsoft.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have even. I said Netflix, and I'm not sure that's a popular decision between those three.
Mm-hmm. But could it be why?
But I like Tesla. I just don't want it at these prices.
Yeah.
The day after earnings. To me, that's the difference. Whereas
Fair.
Netflix is already off of an area and a level that I was previously a buyer, so I do like. Just one note here. You're getting a bit of a trend down break, so I did punch some out. We got to almost at 78,000, and it wasn't even that there was a seller, but here's the move in USO. Like, it caught a bid, broke this little bit of a downtrend, so to me, that's an obvious spot. I was just looking at AMD and a trend there, but I'm talking about IBIT. An obvious spot to take some out, right? So I always have my eye on USO. Saw us get close to that 78K level, saw the turn up there in USO, and then just immediately just hit the bid where it was. I still want to go for the reload. You've got the trend break, the higher lows. We're going to coincide with the volume weighted average price, but I want to see it bounce first. I want to see the bounce and try to get it on the back end of the trade and not the front end on the way down. If I can catch the reload on the back end, we'll hold on to the last little piece, but I am looking for a potential reload here in IBIT. Just want to pay attention to any big twists and turns in oil and react to that. It's not about reacting to them. It's just that if all of a sudden we start screaming higher and you have a chance to get the offer before it reacts to USO, great. And if this continues downward trend, then hopefully I can find that dip buy in there somewhere.
Yeah, in USO. I mean, yeah, the market's just like really bouncy right now. So I'm glad that we've been avoiding that. I'm looking for a potential reload here in SMR. Let's see if we can find something. This is going to be a key out area. So essentially what we would have going on is a free roll. Considering we've took out the majority of our position here, you would see my average price drastically drop down. And we could use this pivot essentially as it's our out, right? Or just free roll. As soon as our unrealized gains go flat, then we just get out. So we'll be patient, wait for that curl over, a couple more retests. And if we fail to establish a break of this level, then I think that could be a green light to go. And we have an inverted hammer candle on the 5-minute. You can see that Netflix is opening around the low. So you have a 5-minute print opening at the lower end of the range. We're getting that uptick that we're looking for right now. But I think it's been a pretty solid decision that we've been avoided the NASDAQ here today. Unless you're catching the lower end of the range, it's definitely been choppy, slightly cleaner in the SPY. So with that being said, I want to see how the financials are holding up here today. But let's go to Adair first.
The sector board really being controlled by earnings, as I kind of indicated earlier this week, we're going to start to see where these earnings names either impact a whole sector or stand out from other names in the sector. And you actually see examples of both on today's sector board. So let's start with tech services. Weak across the board, likely being driven by ServiceNow with decent earnings here, kind of mid-tier earnings, but guidance concerns here about how the geopolitical headwinds in the Middle East are going to impact some of their deal ability. So Oracle, Palantir, AppLovin, Palo Alto Networks, Accenture, IBM with their own earnings report, CRM all to the downside. You also got Health Technology with Thermo Fisher to the downside on earnings, and an otherwise kind of strong to mid sector here. Consumer services looking good. Comcast standing out with their report this morning. Utilities to the upside, industrial services to the upside, producer manufacturing, consumer non-durables, retail trade, and electronic technology, all a pretty good look. Finance, mostly strong, but Blackstone to the downside on earnings, about 5%, and commercial services also weak. Non-energy minerals, last one I want to highlight. You've got Freeport-McMoRan here down 10% after their earnings report, and Newmont also in this sector. They're going to be reporting tonight. Back to you.
Or something like that.
Will Avis. Let's just put Carr. I'm going to get a poll up. Thank you, Adair. I'm going to get a poll up. Will Carr, everyone knows that's Avis by now. What's the low of the day? 247. How about this?
Is it? Is the low? Okay, so say two,
well,
like
that's
two
a
and
bad
a quarter. Yeah, 2 and a quarter.
I'm going to say, will it trade under 250? Will Carr trade under 250 today? Well, you guys know what I mean today.
Yeah.
So 1 is yes. Whoops, I can't even type. Yes. No. Very simple. So everyone in the chat, Avis, the low is about 250 something. Whatever, it's close to that. It dropping $10 is nothing today. So will it close under, or will it trade under 250? Yes or no? I think this is going to be heavy on the yes side, and I'm going to throw that in there as well. All the ones. We'll leave this up for a bit, and then we'll probably put a more serious poll up.
Yeah.
Maybe about Tesla or the overall market, whatever
I
one
think that's
thinks.
pretty serious.
But just, you think this is a serious one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it? I guess, fair enough. It's whatever the viewers like.
Exactly.
I feel like there'd be more interest in trying to figure out where Tesla's going to end up, or if the market's going to make some kind of a decision here, because we're right back to where we were when we opened effectively. Like, we just done basically nothing on the NASDAQ. So get your votes in. You type 1 if you think Carr is trading under 250 at any point today, and you type 2 if you think no, that the bottom is in on Avis. And whether you think the bottom is in today or not, let's just say that the top is definitely in.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So like this was 2 days ago. 24 hours ago. This was just over 24 hours ago. This was $800. It is now $270. And remember how parabolic this was on the way up. No matter how fast you think something goes up in the market, there's a reason they have the saying, the market goes up like an escalator and down like an elevator. That has and always will be true, in my opinion. I've never really seen that to be otherwise. The faster it is squeezing to the upside, the nastier it can be coming back into the downside. So with that said, it's still caught a bid. The last halt was to the upside on Carr. IBIT or Bitcoin. Someone asked me what is IBIT. If you don't know, IBIT is just an ETF for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's one of the Bitcoin ETFs. It's the one that does the most intraday volume.
Yeah.
So typically it's at about 10 million today. The other ETFs wouldn't have done as much volume. So it's preferential for a day trade if you're an equity trader.
Savage.
So it's still putting in higher lows, but it has not pulled back into VWAP. So I'm still looking for that gap fill. I haven't caught the reload yet. I haven't had a reason to, but I wanted to fill more of the gap in before I take any out. So looking for that bid to reload this trade. And what else do we have? I was just looking at AMD. I know I had this one up when I was talking about something else. It's because I was doing this. Like, look at all these bottoming tail wicks into this trend line. Like, if you put the bodies up, like if I give it to the bodies, it's starting to converge. So if I put the wick bottoms and the bodies, which I can save both of them if I really want to. Get rid of that from yesterday. A trend break on AMD looks like a good setup, but remember, the market has turned strong. So I'm not a huge fan of that. If we get all the way to the top, and then break the trend because AMD couldn't recover to its highs, I like that short better. For now, I'll be patient with it. Like, IBIT's continuing to work, so we'll hang on to this. Maybe something crazy happens in Carr, and we could take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people were talking about Robinhood this morning as well, too. I mean, it's not doing too much. It's around $86. Bitcoin putting in a new high of the day. The NASDAQ recovering. TRT, we can take a look at that momentarily. Oh, Apple putting a nice indecision 5-minute print at a key support level. Gaurav, you might like this one.
That's not bad.
This candle right here on Apple.
I might like that.
Yeah. I like this print here on the 5-minute time frame. What is the detail telling us? We still have this downtrend here, though. If that breaks and you sit on the backside of that, then sure enough, maybe you're going to climb back into VWAP, and that's going to help drag the NASDAQ higher. So, I mean, things are looking pretty optimistic. Amazon was definitely the strongest out of the mag, consolidating around these highs. So with that being said, I mean, if you're looking to get involved, it's just this little feisty bugger right here, USO, not really deciding what it wants to do at the moment, even though it is below VWAP. So SanDisk 595. Did this thing hit? This thing hit 1,000? No, it didn't.
It got really close.
It got really close. Yeah, 980 on that one. SMR has been the trader of the day, back to 44.20. So this nice steady uptrend. Neil, the thing that I'm worried about here in Bitcoin.
44.20.
Yeah, 44.20, man.
420.
A couple days, yeah, 420, man.
I'm just saying.
So does anything look familiar or similar to you with this Bitcoin chart here?
Not really, but anytime I see that, if it pulls back into the prior support, that's the exit.
So you don't think that
it's always the exit?
Yeah. So you don't think this is similar, right?
Well, but it's done that multiple times.
Yeah.
Where's my 15? I have a 1 hour chart on Bitcoin around here somewhere. This one.
Pull it up.
Like you can make the argument that
that's fair.
It's had the up moves and broken down. That being said, on the hour, the reason I'm a little bit bullish in here is I could draw another channel. It's an upward channel if you go back about to the start of the month on Bitcoin. So as long as it's done that, like right now we're at the 78, and it never really reached the bottom. I like the fact that it's trying to do something different, it looks like. Okay. Like you have a little bit, like it's about 77 in here. And as long as we held on to this, I think there's room back into the upside. If you break down underneath like 77K, then I'd look for the extension back into the trend line. But for now, it's a little bit of a trend break, and I'm a big stickler for these like VWAP to the next level kind of trades. So until it fills in the gap, or they get bounced off VWAP here, until it fills in this gap, I want to try to give it a chance to hold the up move. If it gets into the top of the gap, I'll probably be a look at me short IBIT, but not till it gets up there.
Fair enough. I mean, there goes SMR. You're down 3.3% and starting to head lower. I mean, it failed to put in a new high right here.
Flush.
So yeah, there's a clean flush right there. And another 10 cents. So there's might be so Darius says I'm putting my life savings into liquid natural gas calls at $2.60. Hey man, you guys know where I stand on that
LNG, baby.
Yeah, man. You guys know where I stand on that yellow stuff. So, hey, there it is. A continuation to the breakdown with SMR as the market is holding up pretty good right now. Tech names are pretty strong.
I feel like people say they're putting their life savings into something as like a bit of a, like that's just a figure of speech.
Yeah.
When
I'm taking Darius literal here though. Like, do it, man. I don't know.
I'm hoping not to.
Yeah.
I mean, like nobody's like we're not like we're day traders here to.
That's what.
This is what's moving. This is what I'm trading. Kind of deal is what we're all about. Yeah. But I would kind of hope that.
Yes, there.
You know what? You could always be. I guess you could be like young enough or something that like it's just like a shot play when you're like.
Yeah.
It just seems a little bit irresponsible.
I mean, what did Achilles once say? Like. You can die when and no one will remember your name, but if you do something, people will remember your name.
You know what? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Get out of here. I could give a rat's you-know-what.
Yeah.
What the world... I don't give a the world remembers my name. Does my daughter respect me when I pass?
That's all that matters.
Does she look back fondly on memories? Do my family and friends respect me?
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of people that I don't know. Like, it is what it is. Like, to each their own, I suppose.
Man,
but
it depends.
You know, you gotta have the focus somewhere. The whole life savings thing is just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
that seems a little bit crazy to me. But
UNG calls, son, let's go. Yeah, he's in it, man. I mean, he's in it to win him. Let's go over to Adara.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Wise words from Neil here on this Thursday morning. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar. We did get a bit of a topping tail candle here as of right now that's currently forming on the DXY. Flat on the day following 2 days of strength, though relatively range-bound on the DXY in both Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, we did get some economic data this morning, so I'm going to go over it for you guys. Jobless claims here lower than expected for the... continued jobless claims, higher than expected here for continued and initial jobless claims. 214,000 versus 210,000 initial. Continued 1.821 million versus 1.816 million expected. Chicago National Activity Index a little bit lower than we were expecting, but the exact opposite was the case at 9:45 with these PMI prints. You get S&P Services PMI 51.3 versus 50.6. Manufacturing PMI 54 versus 52.5 expected, and Composite 52 versus 50.6 expected. So all three of these prints higher than we were expecting. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting another print that's going to be of note here potentially for the market. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, final print for the month of April. Forecast here, 48.5. So that would be above the prior print of 47.6. We're expecting roughly in line here. 5-year and 1-year inflation expectations, they're going to be roughly around the same as the prior print. It's worth noting that last Michigan Consumer Sentiment print was actually the lowest on record as far as I was seeing that prelim print. So let's see if we get a little bit of an improvement in this final print for April, or if things just get worse. But on that fun note, we're going to send you back over to Joe and Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. Just quickly, USO is attempting to break the LO. Well, it's the low of the morning. We've been lower in the pre-market. So you have oil futures heading downside slightly. You got the market pressing toward the highs. Bitcoin's pressing toward the highs. But also, we got a little bit of this.
Oh, you got that?
I got the button now.
All right, let's go.
Thank you to, is Ramin here? Well, Ramin messaged me, and then I didn't have, all week long, I didn't have the button for that. But you know what? Before I tell you what we're having for lunch, here's my reaction, and everybody in the chat should know exactly what the lunch is based on my reaction to seeing it on the menu.
Okay.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Fried chicken. Dang. There we go.
See how quickly Joe got that one? So he just spoiled it. It's an American flag today on the lunch. And you are right if you guessed it. No, it's not tilapia. Joe already said fried chicken. Southern style crispy fried chicken.
It's not John.
Don't even try booing that, Sharif. I don't want to hear any of that.
Me and Sharif were boo.
Garlic infused quinoa and brown rice. That should probably be a biscuit, but beggars can't be choosers in this particular situation. So I'm very happy with this. There's a vegetarian option that says crispy fried cauliflower. Thankfully, I'm not getting that because I'm not a huge fan of cauliflower, so I'm glad I'm getting the good. Adara,
I was going to say, I remember a couple weeks ago when the fried chicken was with the Canadian flag, so I'm very happy that the flags seem to have, been corrected for this, because fried chicken and Canadiana are kind of hard for me to put together here.
But where's the cheddar biscuit? Or just a regular biscuit? I'm really not that much of a complainer when it comes to that, but I will take that. We got to be happy.
Someone said grape drink too.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. Chappelle said it for a reason. No, was it Chappelle or was it Eddie Murphy? Probably Eddie Murphy. Look, who doesn't like fried chicken? And when you were a kid,
there's a lot of people out there that.
Okay, fine. If you don't eat meat, fair enough. But then if you eat meat, then you like fried chicken, right? And grape drink is delicious.
Yeah.
I don't care. And you know what? I think watermelon's the most overrated fruit there is. There's some things I just don't. That you can't slap that stereotype on me. I am that dude. Watermelon is the most overrated fruit out there. I don't get it. I'll eat it if it's in front of me, but I'm never like, I gotta have some watermelon. No, who really? It's not that good.
Overrated.
There's way better fruits, bro. Mango's better. Pineapple's better. There's all kinds of better fruits.
Pineapple is not better than watermelon.
Yeah, it is.
No, it is not.
As long as it ain't on the pizza,
no.
it is.
Yo, you're wild. You're wilding now.
Yeah, I'm wild. Then I'm wild. Then I'm wilding. Then that's fine by me.
There's no way. Mango is easily the goated fruit in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Yeah.
Mango. Oh, yes. Nice. Get the sweet mango. When it's in season, if you're in the islands, everybody's selling it on the street, and you'll just stop, buy a couple. Get home, be like, I need more. Eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I'll blunder.
By the way, the shorts are eating it up. What did we say, 250? I'm gonna might as well end the poll right now. No point. We just hit 252. Will card trade under $250? Well, it's probably gonna do that before we get to 11 o'clock. It was 75% said yes. There's still a chance for anyone that voted no on that, as it is holding the line like an absolute champion at 250. That's probably going to go. Wow.
Yes, Strobe.
A lot of people are hating that take, eh?
Yeah, people.
Yeah, you don't like that take.
Do the poll, man.
But don't see. Here's my whole thing, though. Don't tell me that you gotta like certain things. You gotta hate certain.
No, exactly.
One of my biggest beefs, and this is a huge one. Like, actually, I'm going to be real for a second, and then we'll get into that. One of the things that annoys me the most is this whole idea that because I'm from somewhere, I look a certain way. Whatever. I'm from this town. I'm a brother. That you have to like this, you gotta like that, you gotta vote this, you gotta believe that. Like, what kind of utter nonsense is that? And you know,
it's all BS.
Everything comes from my pops. My dad grew up on an Antigua island of like 60,000 people. Like, he was into like reading James Bond novels. You think anybody else on the island of Antigua was reading James Bond novels? But he loved it. That's what he was into. And so he paved his own path. And then anyone want to tell him he lost his card because he studied all day, or because he liked to read books, or because he was a nerd? And I got raised on that nonsense. So I slap that stuff out down straight. You tell that to me, I'm smacking it down straight up.
Get that out.
I like what you're gonna like, and don't let anybody tell you what you have to be in this.
Tell them that, Neon.
You don't have to actually smack them though, because violence is bad. But with only about 2 minutes to go in here, we might have missed some super chats while we were ranting and getting excited about.
You just dropped the poll, man. We got Danny. We got a bunch of super chats.
We have a bunch of super chats. Can we throw those up there if we can? Come on the page. Chris, appreciate you. Thank you, pure soul. You know what? Like I said, I get all credit to my parents, man. Rowan Speed, pre-market analyst showed me Tesla up on open, scalped a 25% account. Sorry, scalped a 25% account calls in 230. Topped out up 3K at 940 in 10 minutes. Great pre-market help and outlook on Tesla before the drop. I wish I had taken. I just did not listen to my own note today. Actually, that's not true. I prioritized the wrong stock at the open. That would be the better example.
Yeah.
I think we might have had one more. Did we have another one there, Andre? Yes, we did. Ian Rispetto. Neil, remember the Chappelle Show skit where he orders the fried chicken on the plane? I love Dave Chappelle. That's a great one. He's got a bunch of fantastic ones out there, and Key and Peele are pretty good too. They got some absolute bangers. My dad died over the Clayton Bigsby. I remember the first time he saw it. He's like, that is one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen.
Clayton Bigsby is easily the best.
It was the first episode, and it's like, that's it. That's like the greatest thing I've ever seen on Sketch TV. Augie Doggy says Ren is running? DJ Ren? No, obviously not. Not DJ Ren. Who hit that key? What is going on here? Who's hitting that key? I have no idea who's hitting that. I'm staring down Carr on the bid. It's just difficult for me not to here. But yeah, that's the brain is very much on that. And I'll get back to Ren in a quick little second because I just glanced over and I'm seeing a seller on IBIT. Like we have closed a big portion of the gap into here, and we've ticked above the 78,000 level. So we're above the 78, just giving you the last ideas from the trade. And then the other thing that I'm factoring in is you've double bottomed at 130. So I'm kind of feeling like this. Like we break down this support here on USO, and it's a hold. If this little mini trend, it gets broken, then I probably just get out. So that's my thought. And it could go either way in that particular moment. But Joe's actually moving on over, everybody, so I'm going to let him get set up. Sharif is locked and loaded. We'll give them a little bit of extra time over there. And let's go on to, because you must have meant IREN, right? This was a super chat. You must have meant IREN. This was Brendan's pick. Brendan's over there. He's busy over there. But he should be like, Brendan doesn't do a happy dance. He's very like Brendan's my stock is up 8% today would be something along like, cool. That's how I roll. I'm Brendo. You know, he'd be really chill about it. But no, that's on an absolute run. Was there a story that we missed here on IREN? Not that I'm aware of, but I'll double check. I mean, when you think about it, if CapEx goes up, they should be getting benefit from that, right? So, go ahead, Adara.
You're not immediately seeing anything, but they could benefit from CapEx. They also, again, are still considered by some to be a crypto play. And I was seeing yesterday people were attributing, I guess, having them on watch to the crypto moves. So, yeah, there's a couple of different reasons this could be up. I'm not seeing anything concrete.
I could buy into either one of those being the reason. Maybe it could be a little bit of like a touch of technical breakout as well. For the record, why I was telling you about that top up there, you know, a bit of a topping tail. So I'll exit. It filled in most of the gap, but then I just saw that bounce on USO and take advantage of that as well. And Steve M saying, yeah, look at other data center plays today. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Data center plays should be strong. Absolutely loving what we're seeing in some of them. Ooh, GVanova's not making any fresh highs either. So I'll leave you with this. I was incorrect. CAR didn't break 250 in the next 4 minutes. It's now been 5 minutes and it still hasn't broken 250. It's found a temporary bottom down 43% today, in addition to it getting rugged yesterday. So there's a little something